Oh my gosh, we're live on the internet. It's successful. We're here. It's been done. Hello, welcome. Good evening. Happy Humbleyuir night, my friends.
Good morning as well.
Good morning as well.
Yeah.
Very insensitive of me, considering that half the
Oh,
group
well.
just woke up on the far
Oh.
side of the world. Hello, good morning. Yeah,
It's, from the Truman Show, you can just say good morning in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
yeah, I do love
Yep.
that.
Cover all bases.
I do love it. I heard the Truman Show discussed in the context of spoilers in media the other day, and how the Truman Show spoils itself immediately upon starting, and so it being good in and of itself should prove to you that spoilers aren't that important. You can enjoy a story even if you understand there's no big twists or secrets or reveals, and it's just about the journey, right? And I was like, this is a very hyper specific example, and I don't know how I feel about it, but fair enough. You feel strongly.
Yeah, that the movie isn't
mean-
trying to pretend that it's him. It's his. Yeah, interesting.
They're most takes of the Truman Show would have been that you don't realize it's the Truman Show until the end, right? This is, I think, such a get in storytelling, the twist, the reveal. If M. Night Shyamalan made it, we'd find out in the last 15 minutes, oh my God, the cameras.
All right. Well, then tell us what's happening tonight.
Sure.
Where are we going?
No, the trick is that Truman doesn't know the whole time. He does not know the whole time.
That is true. That is true. It's disgustingly hot over here today, but it's been a very fun, exciting day. I got to podcast with you, Grace, about the Sandman. It's Sandman premiere day, so I just want to stop in and be hype about this greatly beloved property getting adapted to Netflix. That's been fun. Now I'm trying to not watch all of it in one afternoon. That's a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Todd the librarian was saw him discording, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm done." Oh man, it's so fast. I've watched one episode.
I was very fortunate to hang out with Todd in person a couple of months ago, and he and I started talking about it, and I know he's a big comic guy, and he was like, "Oh God, I love it so much," and we nerded out for quite a while, and he had messaged me last week I think I'm just taking the day off. And I was honestly, man, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Yeah. What are the craziest things you guys ever took a day off for? I definitely took a day off of work, multiple days off work. I mean, I'm lying. I took the week off of work for the release of a World of Warcraft expansion, which is probably the nerdiest thing I have done, or taken off work for specifically, I guess.
I mean, I've taken off days of work for D&D, for sure.
Yeah.
I know I've
Did
taken
you take a
days
day off
work.
for Legend of Vox Machina?
I've taken afternoons off work. There was a good stretch where I did half days to then watch Legend of Vox Machina or watch Critical Role. But yeah, I feel that's the most taking days off to then stay home kind of things that I've done.
Oh yeah. I love taking a day off to stay home. I cleverly just turned my job into D&D, so I don't have to take off anymore. So that has worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take time off to play other D&D.
Exactly.
It's-
Yeah, to play.
your own schedule.
Yeah.
I've taken a few MLB opening days off. I've taken to just watch as much baseball as humanly possible.
Yeah, that seems super. I don't know, normal
Sports-
to me
sports-
or whatever. Right?
Sports should be way nerdier than people
I know.
think it is.
It's very
Get the
nerdy.
nerd.
Credit for.
Yeah.
Super nerd. Yeah.
Cool. I have quietly been occupying my afternoon not watching Sandman. There's also a new documentary on Netflix about the Woodstock '99 Music Festival, which I'm pretending that I'm just watching, but I'm very much narcissistically driven to see if I find myself in a tiny cameo on screen somewhere over 3 hours, which I'm definitely not there. But it's a fascinating revisiting.
Someone someone who looks exactly like you, I think could be there.
Yeah, that's possible.
Your doppelganger.
Could be a doppelganger. Could be. I mean, I was there, and there were definitely about 100,000 of my doppelgangers there as well. Great. So,
You were actually there? I thought you were joking. Were you actually there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm 19
my
years old, like straight coming
Okay.
out of like my freshman year of college, and like I very much was there, and have found myself on YouTube videos narcissistically searching for them over the decades. Yeah.
You could be in the documentary.
Yeah, I mean that's literally why I watched it. Yeah. I'm not even joking.
That's amazing.
It's surreal to me, and like talk about just context to like put me in terms of like perspective, the scale of my life. Like it wasn't that long ago, but to be like, oh no, it actually was. Like that was almost 25 years ago. Like one part of my brain definitely feels like I did that last summer, right? And maybe it's just the Peter Pan syndrome talking, but I don't know. It was very fascinating revisiting of this huge cultural moment from my youth, right?
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've taken us
wild.
on a very random tangent.
I like it.
realize. But
Big
nonetheless-
documentary fans around this parts, I think.
Yeah, I love a documentary. I don't know how you couldn't, especially one. It's a very good one. It's pretty compelling. It's a 3-part series. I advise you guys to check it out. You won't see me there, but you will see a lot of people that look exactly like me. Yeah. Cool. But so Dungeons and Dragons is why we're hanging out, right? This is why we've gotten together today. Not just to hear about what I'm watching on Netflix, but
Dragon.
I could spend 3 hours talking about that. I do often enough. Yeah, D&D. We're going to play Humbleyuir. We're back.
Back?
Some of us from the dead.
Yeah, indeed. Go figure.
That is true.
Last episode was an absolutely eventful one. We're obviously down a hedgehog tonight. Mad love to our old druid who needed the night off. We will miss you, but the show must go on, I think, right? That's what they say? Is that a thing? Is that appropriate in this context? It is. This is literally a show. Yeah. Yeah, this is the part of the night where I guess I ask if there's anything we need to go over. Is there any like housekeeping, bookkeeping stuff, like mechanics, questions that we should like visit?
I do not believe so.
Yeah.
I got
I know we
revivified.
picked up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I got revivified, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
No, you're still dead, Grace. Can you know?
Yeah, imagine. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have a -4 on all of my stats. I assumed it was revivified,
Oh,
but I
no.
wanted to double check.
Yeah, we don't have raised dead, so we better not, screw up that badly.
Right, it was out of the Night
Yeah.
Father staff. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was the very close call of, do you have enough charges? Oh my God, yes you do. Good. That's good because there's no components here. Yeah.
Yeah, because the cleric
was
does
no
not have
components somewhere.
components.
We're gonna need to remedy that. You never know. We may get one of
This
those.
moose
rogue
probably. What was the moose's name? He probably has revivified
Maui.
raised dead. Yeah,
deaths.
he's
The moose is Maui. Yes, indeed. And
Maui.
I suppose that brings us to a good point. Where shall we just get right to it?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's. So when last we left our heroes, the Marshview Five, having made it to Saltersport, where you were holed up in the basement of Maina's, the small tavern where you were involved in a bloody and deadly melee after poor Odella was made returning to the city of her youth. So as it were, the group of you slipped out of the city proper, separating with the companion whom you met on the road, the old Vulpin man named Noel, who was sending you up into the forest to the north to seek a place called Magny's Hold, a holdfast high in the trees on the southern portions of the Humblewood forest. A place kept by a hero of old, a fellow named Magny the Younger, once upon a time, a Raptoran, who has kept up this kind of monastery, as it were, high in the treetops in the southern sections of the forest. This location was the last place of the twin blades of Guidel, these two of the relics which you seek in your quest to reunite these 5 old artifacts wielded once against the necromancer by the heroes of the last age. So as it were, Old Noel suggested that the group of you should separate, that he would double back into the village and see if he could tail the bandits who you suspect have their hands on the horn of the Everdeen. Sending the group of you out ahead, traveled through in the darkness, where you discovered the place that you sought, a small kind of shop, a roadside shop not far outside of Saltersport itself, owned by a Cervan, a kind of moose of a man with huge sprawling antlers named Maui. On arriving there, amidst the darkness of the rainy night, you discovered the place surrounded by the skeletons of dead bird folk assaulting the building. They came at you out of the darkness. A deadly fight broke out, Odella falling to the claws and the beaks of these undead enemies, raised by the quick thinking and the ancient relic, the Night Father's staff, in the hands of one Quilliam Softpaw. As Holly, I believe, had raced up to the door, Maui opened it, the huge moose-like figure kind of silhouetted in the light of the door frame as he called the group of you into his dwelling after you dispatched the last of these skeletal enemies on the field outside. And so I believe as the camera kind of opens tonight, we swoop down over this kind of low hillside, a wooden fence around it, winding path leading up to the squat kind of building is Maui's place. And I think that the camera flitting around the windows, which are shuttered from the inside, we see the thin kind of slivers of orangey candlelight flickering and filtering from within. And as the camera presses up against the shuttered window into the dwelling itself, we see the Marshview Five in the towering form of this moose-like fellow, dressed in a kind of like loose tunic and worn breeches, these massive antlers almost scraping against the ceiling, a natural sort of almost slouch to his whole posture as he moves about inside the space. And as the camera sweeps over the five of you, I'll say, what's going on? What's the conversation as the group of you are all entering this place?
I think Obi, as he kind of steps into the warmth of the space here, like immediately like looks for like where is like a place to like help Ode to, where she can kind of recline, rest, stay warm, and even if he needs to sort of like push a chair a little bit, squeaking it across the wood to kind of get closer to wherever there's a warm fire, and sort of crouches down beside Ode, and it's just like, I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but are you okay?
I mean, better than I was before.
That is, well, factual at the very least.
Was I mistaken that there was something we were like someone was gonna identify? Didn't we get some?
Yes, I do believe we found some things on the mage.
There was a wizard controlling.
That Obi was going to identify. Yeah.
Yep. There was a mage controlling this group of skeletons, and what you had retrieved from them was a small wooden wand, and I believe a ring.
I've got notes in my...
I've written down a wand and braces.
Oh, yeah.
+2 dex bracers, and then Odella, question mark?
In my notes, I think that was sort of what we landed on, but yeah. Ode should have those.
And you got...
And a wand of magic detection.
Indeed. Yep.
I think looks to Obi's like, well, get some good stuff out of it, and killed people who were doing evil things. So,
I mean, that's true, and I'm glad we accomplished that side of it. But they did also kill you, so I mean, it's kind of like it's not wasn't a clean victory.
I think at this point the massive moose has like pulled the door closed and kind of like barred it. He's moving around the space, and I think as he hears this, he kind of like turns quickly to the pair of you, and he's like, "Oh no! Did you just say that you died?"
I died. Yeah, I did. Yeah. There on your front lawn.
Died.
Oh, by the Amaranth, but you're not.
Now I'm not dead.
Dead now, no.
More things to do here. You know.
And I think his eyes like wide. He's looking over the lot of you, and he's just like, this is all really a lot to take in. I gotta tell you,
us. There's a few of us. There's 5 of us. You could take it. You can't take us in.
No. There's plenty of room. I know that the building here is small, but I've got a big basement. It's just I mean, it was already quite terrifying to have these things just come up out of nowhere like that, and they were tearing at the walls and about to smash down through my windows. But now you're telling me that they killed you, and you're sitting here talking in my shop like nothing happened, and it's just a lot for a fella to try to wrap his head around, eh?
I mean, that is... yes, pretty much the story.
I mean, most things would be hard to wrap around your head because you have those big antlers.
Oh, that's, that's funny. Oh.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be rude or not.
No, it's actually... kind of humorous. I think he like looks to you, Almond, and he's like, I don't know if a lot of folks get self-conscious about the antlers, and they kind of try to pretend like they're not there, eh? But I mean, they're really big. We can't really ignore them, can I? Anyway,
yeah, well, and she sort of like
moves back and forward.
I think he's
and
I think Armin's like scurrying through her backpack and is starting to like panic cook because, you know, oh my gosh, stuff's just happened and I need to comfort people, so I just need to start cooking.
How long do these last? And I pull out the cinnamon scroll that you gave us earlier. Do you remember how long it has been since you made them? Too long for it to work, maybe?
How long do they last? Because it hasn't actually been that long. You guys weren't on the road for like many, many hours or anything.
Let me check. 8 hours. Or until the end of a rest.
You're definitely still in good shape then. Yeah, they would still be active.
For even thinking about taking rest, I just start eating mine. 10 HP.
And I think as Maui like sees you like pulling out like cooking equipment and stuff, Almond, he's like, "Oh, do you need anything? I mean, I've got a whole oven downstairs and whole pots and pans. I've got some ingredients. It's actually quite a full storeroom. I mean, if y'all are hungry or thirsty or tired, I mean, you probably need a." Oh, your old hedgehog there, he don't look so great. And I think Quilliam is leaning up against the wall like, I'm fine. As now he's like, well, maybe we should head downstairs at least. There's a little more room. Everybody can try to get comfortable, and you could do some cooking if you like. I mean, I've got enough space for all of us.
We are immeasurably grateful for you letting us crash here for the night, especially after the dangers outside. I hope we don't draw more attention to you.
Oh, no.
I think it's worth noting that our presence here could perhaps cause further danger, and I don't want to, take advantage of your hospitality.
Mister, that might be true, eh? But I'm just going to tell you that if the lot of you hadn't shown up here, I would have spent my night locked in a closet downstairs. Things had gotten pretty bad before you even came walking up to the door. And, I mean, the fact that you'd extend yourself like that for a stranger, and then to give your life, I don't even know what to say. I feel like I owe you all such a great debt. I mean, letting you sleep on my extra beds and my couch, it's nothing. And if more of them come back, I'll be gladder to have you here than not.
Well, I'm grateful then that you're grateful and that we were able to keep you from being in a closet when you didn't need to be.
No, it's a real tough fit. I mean, this place ain't built for a fella my size. I didn't build it. I just moved in after the last guy. Anyway, come on. We have a little more room. And I think he heads like behind this counter. He lifts a kind of like lift gate to the counter heading to the back. And you see him reach down, like pulling a rope up off the floor, lifting a kind of hatch to a set of stairs leading down into a basement where there's all these kind of warm smells and light emanating up, and he makes his way down. You see him like have to like move very particularly to kind of like angle his giant antlers down through this hole in the floor. But as such, he brings you downstairs. If you guys want to follow, there's a moment where you're without him, if that's relevant.
I think Obi just looks across everyone and kind of just gives them all a nod and follows Maui downstairs.
Yeah, and I guess as the rest of you would follow, you would see that as you transition from this space, which I did not describe well, this small kind of circular upstairs, it's got all manner of herbs kind of tied, hanging from the rafters in these bundles. I think that you're seeing baskets of like grapes and like apples and stuff sitting along the shelf on one wall. It is a store with all manner of like kind of strange herbs and vegetables. It seems like half an apothecary almost. There's a whole shelf with small like vials of tinctures and kind of ointments and various things like this, right? And as he leads you down, I think you guys following the stairs down, you see this small little staircase leads down to a dirt floor, and they're almost like these earthen tunnels down below. There are all these candles that are lit, hanging on these little like sconces, these small candelabras off the edge of these earthen walls. But the floor, the walls, the ceiling above you are all literally just earth kind of carved out. And you see these kind of winding tunnels leading in all these different directions. And he kind of takes you moving towards the right a little bit around this looping turn into this large open kind of room, though it's more of almost a cave, perhaps. A huge, like, metal kind of wood stove set in the back, a stack of firewood and a ring next to it. You see the stovepipe, like, going up into the earth out of the back. And then there's all these small kind of, like, low couches and wicker chairs, a bit of, like, a coffee table, a small bookshelf. It's a very kind of amiable living room, a living space almost, right? And he like gestures around, and you see a bunch of like cookware, pots and pans hanging off of a rack on like one wall. And I think that he probably would like gesture to you as well, like stopping at the kind of entrance here, like, that's the pantry right there. Really help yourself to anything you find here. I don't have anything that's, well, it's expensive enough to offer you my real thanks. You're welcome to whatever you need.
Oh, well.
Thank you very much. And Armand will go in and start sort of clattering around and making noise and start trying to cook up some comfort food.
I think Quilliam like quietly makes his way into the kind of living room and like curls up into a ball and falls asleep, as he sometimes want to do, especially after a long, tiring day like this. The Night Father's staff like leaning up against the wall next to him while he sits in like a small spiky ball, sleeping near the heat. Now he just is like looking over all of you, like, if y'all want some privacy too, I understand. I mean, I'm not really sure who y'all are, but I owe you enough. You could sleep here and leave in the morning, no questions asked, if that's better for you. But if there's anything I can help with, well, I only have so much, but I'm more than happy to try.
Well, I apologize. I thought I've just lost track of time and everything that's happened. I'm Obi, my sister Adela, Armand at the pantry and the pottery, Quilliam's fallen asleep, and this is Holly. We're traveling out of Marshview, making our way up towards Magni's Hold. And we'll continue on that journey tomorrow morning when the light dawns, after we've all had a chance to catch our breath.
Well, Magni, he's an old fella, yeah. I met him when I came down through here from Alderhard. I only just bought this place, a couple months back. I haven't been here very long, but gosh, yeah, that's quite a journey. I hope he's not dealing with this kind of trouble up there. I mean, it's almost scarier to imagine it in the woods.
Having encountered some of it in the woods before, yes. They're all up in the trees. It's hideous.
You said before the Nightfather staff is cold to the touch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
Is it still? After... I don't know that we've ever experienced it with its charges kind of all...
fully drained out like that? That's an interesting
I
question.
think Holly has always been so fascinated by Quilliam's magic, having none of her own, and I think that she's just very quiet and kind of curious about all of it, and not letting him sleep, but also just kind of seeing what the staff can do at kind of its greatest potential. I think is percolating in her brain.
So she's like sitting just kind of looking at it, or is she like legit like kind of take it as he's sleeping and she's sort of like touching it or handling it at all?
I don't know that she would like fully take it, but I do think she like reaches out.
Okay, yeah.
Paw
We see you like sitting there as your little paw like kind of reaches out, like touching for it. And as this idea of curiosity, Quilliam's told you that it's cold. You've probably touched it before. And as your fingers rush up against it, and there's this kind of expectation that perhaps it will not have that same kind of chilling touch to it. I think the second your finger like connects with it, you feel almost like this bite, like a jolt. There's that moment like touching a metal pole where almost your paw like sticks and you have to like pull it back off. It's a particular kind of biting cold for Holly, I think, as she touches it.
Yeah, Canadians know it well. Don't lick poles.
Oh yeah. New York's close enough.
I haven't found a way, Melissa, to get cold resistance on this character yet, but I'm working on it.
I know. We both had it in the other game, but not
a staple of Melissa and I's characters is typically at some point we will get cold resistance.
It's true.
It's too real to who we are as individuals. Yeah. And then super prone to heat damage. So I think she like snatches her paw back really quickly and sort of looks at it for a moment, and then like looks at Quilliam kind of just in awe. Yeah.
That he can handle such a thing on such a regular basis so casually is certainly something noteworthy. As Holly is sitting kind of quiet and reserved after having her own very harrowing experience throughout the course of this fight. And I think that, Maui just like puts a kettle on the stove, like kind of let it begin to boil. I think that he would like meander out of the room, like, I'm gonna go fetch you some blankets and such. Make up the guest rooms. Just holler if you need anything.
There's more rooms?
Oh, yeah.
It was already quite an expensive place.
Druids, I mean, they have a way of tucking secrets inside of secrets inside of secrets, so they say. The last fella who owned this place...
Do we all look at Quilliam?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the same thing.
Asleep over on the side? Yeah.
And I think he kind of like, he gestures towards Quilliam, like notably. Like, I think he doesn't notice you all looking because he's also looking, right? He's like, oh yeah, was a hedge like him what built the place up, and well, there's these big stone kind of blocks, pillars, like I've heard folks call them menhirs maybe, outside in a big circle like around the place. And I've kind of been trying to figure it out and map it in my head, like, and it seems to me like the burrow, it reaches out right about to the edges of that perimeter, as it were. And I don't know really nothing about all of this. I'm just an herbalist and an apothecary and a woodsman, and was looking for a place outside of the city to spend my retirement. When I heard this place was
Bird
up
named
for
Acorn?
bird named Acorn. Can't say I know him. No.
Weird.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It just came to mind. Just a question.
Sounds like
I
a
thought Acorn
great
was one of
name.
your sisters.
I do have a sister Acorn, but that's not. It's a different.
Different Acorn.
Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, Acorn's a pretty common name around these parts. Yep.
Well, just like
I've
we've
met
got
so many
two
Acorns.
corianders, right? So.
Was he
You said-
implying that? What was he saying about Menhir Circle? That
Yeah.
it's one near here. Did he say that?
Yeah, he
Did he
said
say?
it's literally surrounding the building outside on the hill. Yeah.
Does Obi know anything about Menhir? And I don't know if you were about to ask a similar thing, Grace.
I don't think I know anything about Menhir Circles.
I just didn't want to snipe that that question, but does Obi know anything about?
Obi is well-traveled and well-learned. He is a bard, and bards know lots of stuff, so why don't you maybe make a religion check, I'm going to say.
Ooh, okay. Not my strongest. 16.
Hey, nice first roll of the night with the 16. I think that with the 16, you are familiar with the fact that the tenders, not all druids are tenders and not all tenders are druids, but these terms are often used interchangeably amongst the folk of the wood, right? The tenders represent the kind of single greatest organized grouping of druids, and they take in others of like minds, wizards and sorcerers, rangers, fighters, anybody really who will serve the cause and try to preserve the burning that's happening in the kind of western lands of the Humble Forest. As it is, I think that you know that there are a number of established and like maintained menhir circles in the Humblewood that are kept by the tenders primarily. What you would know about them is probably equal parts fairy tale, fable, and truths, that you know there are magics affiliated, which the druids can tap into. You probably even have seen some small rituals in your travels or your camp at a circle here or there in the woods throughout your years with the traveling troupe, right? Of like the minor effects where they can illuminate themselves in kind of harmless colored flames. They can create warmth or cold. You've seen them used to shelter the space inside from the weather without, to kind of as though they were a covering to protect those within from rain or snow or wind. There are rumors that they can do far more powerful things. You've heard of entities being conjured in secret druidic rituals from outer planes. You have heard of menhir circles being used to transport vast and incredible distances across the landscape. You've never seen anything confirm that, and it's hard to say how much of it is true. But to be sure, there is mystery, magic, and secrets imbued in the menhir circles as far as you know.
Bet there's a lot of Gallus who are part of the because then it would be a chicken tender. Is that right?
I love it. Well played. That feels like I should give you DM inspiration because that's a deep cut, Grace. You really like went there to get Gallus to chicken. I feel like
Yeah.
Slippery slope with Grace, right? She started giving out DM.
I know,
inspiration
it's
every
a
time she
tough
tells
one.
good joke.
I know.
That can't be. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
about
giving
that.
you
Yeah.
DM inspiration, which, to be clear, you may give to anybody else in the party at
Right.
any given time. You are holding it, but you may hand it off to any of your party members when they do something exciting. Yeah. So yeah, to clarify the point, he did say, like, I think as you're asking him, Odella, he turns back and is like, "Oh yeah, last fella was a bit of a druid himself, and I'm not real sure of his history or his past, and I can only even wonder what kind of stuff he was getting up to around here. But yeah, there's a couple of great big giant stones just outside the building here, eh?"
You don't have a name or a description of the person who was here for you, do you?
A name? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, a description. I never met him. I only bought the place after he had passed away, unfortunately. Well, I was sad to hear about that, as I'm sad to hear about the passing of anyone, as it were. But yes, his name was Cyrus. He was a hedge, like your friend there.
Have we heard that name before?
I don't believe so. I think he would even say his whole proper name there was Cyrus Baird.
Baird. Okay. Baird, it doesn't ring a name? Doesn't ring a name? I ring a bell.
You know what, Grace? Odella, roll a history check. Let's have Odella roll a history check.
9.
9. No. Given your history of like years spent in Salter's Port, you're kind of close to where he would have been. So I thought you might have known something, but you don't. It's not any kind
I
of.
don't.
Like, yep.
I don't know nothing.
I just think it's interesting that this place is built in the middle of a circle of druidic protection and ritual, and this seemed to be of interest to the necromancer's, followers.
Oh no! Did
I
you
mean,
say
I
the
don't want to-
necromancer?
Yes, we.
You
have
mean like the
reason
one
to
that I
believe-
heard in the children's stories from when we were little?
Yeah, like the one we've all heard in the children's stories from when we were little. Some more recently than others, but we have reason to believe that there is a group of individuals that are dabbling in such dark arts that are seeking out objects, artifacts that were used by the great heroes who held back the necromancer long ago in those stories. They are trying to recover them, as are we, to do our best to prevent any attempts to, bring back the necromancer again, or to tap into the wells of deep magic that the necromancer had used to bring about a new necromancer. We're not sure entirely, but at the very least, these artifacts of these heroes of old are of interest to them. And apparently areas of protection too.
Well, this has been a real troubling night already. I mean, it was like my nightmares just came to life right in front of me to peer out that window and see them bones walking on them their own like that, but I can't believe it's a bigger thing. But I'm just trying to keep up here. You're saying that you all are you're searching for the artifacts from the 5. You're going to Magni's Hold then. I mean, I ain't not much
just
of nothing,
searching.
but
Found some. Like, point to see if any of it's glistening out of perhaps Holly's egg. I don't know. You're carrying it.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
I
is
think
the breastplate?
The breastplate it's always like strapped to the outside of her bag. I think it's part of why she's got disadvantage on stealth checks. Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm just
gestured
carrying
to it.
2 big
Yeah.
steel plates on my back. So I think that he looks to it, and then he turns, his eyes passing over Quilliam, and oh, by the Amaranth, you all are you're heroes on a real important quest. Then you'd say, hey?
I mean,
No.
I hesitate
I won't have none of your
that
bashfulness there, Mr. Obi, sir. It's nothing personal, but you done saved, well, at least my windows and my front door, if not probably my own well-being. And for that, I'm going to call you heroes in my own house here, if that's okay.
Real
Who am I
heroes
to
save
say
windows and doors.
Yep.
That's what they say.
And who are we to say what someone can call us in their own home? But I don't know. It's not to say that I don't appreciate the idea of the label of hero. It's just I don't know. I don't know if we all feel like we've earned it.
I also think, Maui, for the, just the sake of if anybody comes knocking around, you could call us heroes here when it's just us, but, I mean, if someone's looking for help, but also maybe they're lying about help, I'm already going down a whole path. What I'm trying to say is we don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves, I think.
Well, that's okay. I'll keep my nose right down here in my basement where it belongs, so don't you worry about that too much, eh? I appreciate what y'all did. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't mean to make too much out of it. Fact is
Appreciate
that
you taking us in.
I'm just a shopkeeper, really. Getting older every day. Bones creak when I wake up in the morning, and I think about long walk down to Saltersport and back. It's enough to seem daunting to me. The idea of taking on a task like the one that you're talking about, that's just a big thing to put on your plates. That's all I'm saying. Look,
Well, it's a good thing we've got big plates.
and a good cook too, it seems.
At which point Armin starts handing out like food.
Yeah.
And I think he's like, oh gosh, this is incredible. What'd you cook everyone, Almond?
Oh, I was just starting to think about that and I wasn't sure.
That's okay. I think that, yeah, we can circle back. I think now he's just looking over all of you and he's like, look, rooms right down the hall. You won't miss them. I got 3 guest rooms with beds all and couch here. And your little friend there, he seems pretty comfortable, though. I could pick him up and carry him if you need. I got some gloves.
I wouldn't advise that.
Oh, I wouldn't either.
Spiky.
You could just roll him down the hallway.
Well, gosh, that actually sounds kind of fun now.
Yeah.
I just, I don't want to get involved where I shouldn't be up all any later than you need. I'm sure you got a lot to discuss, and I'm sure you're plenty tired.
Sure. Thank you again for your hospitality.
Really, thank
Let
you all.
us let us know if there's anything else we can do for you before we head out. I'm sure we would love to see a little bit of whatever you sell out here before we make our way on.
Of course.
But that can wait till morning.
Morning it
Let's
is.
all get some rest.
Look, y'all make yourselves at home down here, but the one thing I gotta ask, just don't go opening up any of the basement windows here. There's a bunch of little tunnels leading on up out, and you'll see some wooden hatches with some hasps on them. Probably you wouldn't do that on your own, because the necromancer troubles and them undead wandering around up outside and such, but I just figured it'd be worth saying it before I leave. So, good night. Sleep well.
Wait, how many rooms are there?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's
There
like
you go.
14 or 15 or something down here. Only 3 of them with beds, though. There's 3 rooms with beds. Actually, you all are my first real company that's not family, so, well, gosh, thanks for stopping by.
I mean, this is a very unique abode. Have I'm sure you could do well. If you wanted to have guests more regularly.
Yeah.
Like a bed and breakfast. They have great games there.
Oh,
Yeah, get the word out on Airdnb, and it might do really well.
oh, yeah. Donuts and dens. Yeah, I mean, it's like a den down here underground and such. Hey, I know the hedges really love the place. They come down through those little tunnels when I open them up in the summer. That was the plan, at least.
Yeah.
Well, gosh,
Yeah,
you're
you just
giving
have
me
to
a
make
lot to think
sure-
about.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you catch the eye of some of the strigs that sort of fly through here. Let them know that this is a place where travelers can come, and they'll they'll spread the word through the air.
Oh, yeah, they
for
love.
the dens and the donuts and the dinners and all of that kind of good things.
Always cheeping and chirping those strigs. Yeah, that's real good advice. I'm going to keep that one in mind. Gosh, this is delicious too, by the way. Thank you. I think he says he's eating all right, good night again. You'll sleep well. And he just kind of slowly makes his way out of the room, eating. Play it mmm. And so, yeah, the 5 of you are left. The 4 of you specifically is Quilliam, over from the...
You snore in a Welsh accent, Rich?
I just did. Yeah, I don't think you're going to
It's
get
great.
through this.
It's great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
good.
good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So if there are 3 rooms,
The couch.
never had my own room before. With that, if there's 5 of us and 3 rooms, so 2 people share and one's on their own.
All
I
yours,
mean, I know
Holly.
you just died and everything. You should probably have a room to yourself.
No,
I
no,
guess.
no,
I
no.
don't-
That's fine.
All
You take
yours.
Just the idea of Jerbeen sleeping in a moose servant's bed is going to be a wonderful image. So I think
Pretty
you should
fantastic.
you should take it. Yeah,
Yeah.
tiny in this huge moose bed. I think.
She
Yeah.
puts all her stuff and then just kind of circles up right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh.
Every time I find
Big,
my cat
big tail
sleeping.
wrapped all the way around her. Yeah.
Yep, it's perfect. Okay, Holly's going to head off to bed in one of the rooms by herself. Holly's got her own room.
I think.
Yeah.
No, you go first.
I think that probably as Ob and Odell are heading back to the bedroom, I probably Ob would notice there's something we talked about, Rich. You were talking about sometimes revivify, while it works, sometimes comes at a cost. We talked about there not being a negative a 4. That's the raised dead, but perhaps a little favoring. And so I think that as they're heading back, you might notice that Odella's hand, I think, probably isn't looking super great, having been crunched in the claw of this monster, and it's going to sort of head back into the room, and now that we're alone, be I need your help. I need you to help me groundcraft something to make this. And I think there's tears coming. I think it's been hiding pain, and would start to. I think the rules are you have to spend 8 hours, but if you would allow us each spending 4 hours scrounge crafting, essentially kind of Luke Skywalker-ish, not totally but almost overlaid on top of this little mechanical thing to give more mobility. Yeah,
I can imagine the whole kind of extra skeleton around the edges,
Yes.
right? Of literally, yeah, yep.
it's a little scrounge crafted little metallic hand. Yeah.
Of course. This is easy to do, and I'm sure we can fashion something that will get it back up and working as best as it can over time. I mean, I've been through this with the ankle. You just need to do your best to make sure you rest it, but that you also work over time to not let it atrophy. But at the very least, we will build something to help you get through this short period of time, and whatever you want, I'm at your service, Ode.
I just really hurts, but
It's okay.
Yeah. And it's just gonna sort of mindlessly tinker at it. Yeah.
Obi sort of works alongside his sister and kind of adds to it. Resists the temptation of most of the scrounge craft things he makes like art instruments in and of themselves and like make noise. And he like resists the temptation to add like little bells and whistles that would
As you're, like-
interfere.
Yeah.
I could imagine it.
The
As
stealthy,
Obi's-
like, yeah.
As Obi's like setting the lines, right? Because like I'm envisioning almost, Grace, like
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
but like
Yes.
some of the fingers are like not working as well as
Yes.
you want, right? And so
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
trying to like use the dominant ones to get to like control the rest of the hand. So there's
Got
all
it.
these kind of like the skeletons, and you guys are probably taking really thin, like kind of fishing line type stuff to put in. And I can imagine Obi like plucking at it, like, oh, it's at sea, you know? Look, this is like a whole.
Every time he does, I use my other hand. Stop.
But I think that
But, I mean, it's such a unique instrument, Ode.
I think we see this montage of like the pair of you working side by side, right? The pieces probably like sprawled out on the quilt that's on top of like the large bed in the room here as you're like working through the various like bits and baubles that you have in your packs to figure out what's going to work, and the hours pass, and yeah, memories probably shared between the two of you. Your time as children and your mom and her kind of great works as a crafter of this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, awesome, very cool.
Then we sleep in an extra like 4 hours because we stay up 4 hours later.
Mhm.
So we're like sleeping in late. Yeah.
So one thing, I think if you're interested, like, do we build it into these new bracers that you've
Oh, that's
kind of like build off
pretty
of, like,
rad.
is it, like part of the basis for this kind of support cast. But I do think as we're kind of working and building, and when you eventually kind of begin petering out and sort of fall to rest, I don't think Obi sleeps tonight. I think Obi, after Ode drifts off and he kind of keeps a watch for a moment, he then sort of leaves and like begins like patrolling through these various rooms and checking these like hatch windows, and like basically is like on alert, not like with the intention of being like a watchman, but just because he cannot sleep and he needs something to do to kind of occupy his mind. And he kind of moves between the rooms and kind of checks on Quilliam, checks on Holly curled up in the middle of the bed, finds wherever Armand is, and if Armand is asleep and resting, doesn't disturb anyone unless they stir themselves, but patrols. And I think as well, like, after he's done the circuit, 12 times, he sort of like is trying to like find other things to occupy his mind. And if I can, we got that pouch of the quark seeds. Can Obi take some time, like during the middle of the night, to like go through the ritual process of identifying each of the seeds that are in there, so we know what we actually have to work with?
Oh,
Is that something that I'm able to do with how the item works?
Amazing. Sure. Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you. Yep. I think that's super fun.
So I don't know how this is going to interact. Holly did not want her own room for a pure motive.
Excellent.
Holly's sneaking.
Oh!
You're sneaking out? Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think Holly, played up the sad Jerbeen story to get her own room so that she could have an easier time doing it. But she heard talk of this Menhir circle, and Holly is fascinated by things that she doesn't understand, and I think has a lot of thinking to do herself, and is just like wanting to go kind of like check it out, leaving her armor behind.
Okay, so with the armor all behind, you're not wearing your chainmail, you're leaving like your pack and your equipment. What do you have on you, just for point of reference here? Like you bring in your axe at your belt or what?
Yeah, so she's still got her tool belt with her axe
Mhm.
in it, but I think And I think she's still got like kind of her shield because it just like stays kind of strapped to her back most times. But she's sort of taken off her, I forget what she normally wears, her chainmail. And she's left the breastplate behind.
Okay. So
yeah, she's gonna try to. I mean, you talk about these hatches and say like, don't go up the hatches. Like, I don't know what you want me to do, Rich.
Listen, I feel you. I think that this just got more dynamic than I anticipated. So before we get to the quark seeds, what we are going to do here, I'm not officially going to put you on this map, but I will have Holly make a stealth check, and I think Obi makes a perception check, as you probably like would scope the door and have some sense that like somebody's awake out there pacing, making circles. Ooh.
I have rolled so many nat 20s with the second dice in the last like few games I've played. It hurts. Roll 20 is taunting me.
It hurts sometimes, Melissa.
So, I guess like there's a question of timing on this, because I'm spending 4 hours with Ode building
true.
the prosthetic.
Very true.
So if Holly's sneaking out earlier than that, then it might actually be someone like Armand, who's got crazy high passive perception, most likely is probably the more likely one to notice anything than Obi, who's occupied.
This is all very fascinating. Let me stop down then and let's just reset to
My
Almond.
passive perception isn't that great.
It's definitely better than
I just know you have crazy
else.
good stats.
What's your perception?
Mine is 9.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I had genuinely been planning on having Almond quickly make a dessert for everyone as well. Just throwing together sort of like a cobbler type dessert and bringing a bowl of it to everybody in their room. But that would have only been within like the first hour or so, and then she would have gone into her room to start winding down.
My thought is that Holly takes the cinnamon scroll, rests for an hour, and then waits probably another hour to try to like, assuming it'll like take people a bit to go to bed, and then she's like kind of timing that sneak out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually catch your window wherein Obi and Odella are working on the like prosthetic hand. Almond has already brought you the after dinner dessert, right? I think as you like open the door and slip out into the hallway, there's the small like plate of cobbler sitting by the door, like outside where Almond left it for you, right? And you were able to come like prowling through the basement. So my question is, you're gonna open a hatch? You want to open one of the hatches and go crawling through?
Yeah.
Okay. As you're walking along, you come up to what looks like almost like the porthole on the side of a ship, right? It looks almost like a barrel lid, but bigger, like a hobbit door, really. This big kind of circular wooden hatch up against the side of the wall, and it's pitched at like a little bit of an angle, almost like down. It's got like this hasp at the bottom of it, just like Maui said, and you could see where it's on like a kind of sliding rolling hinge. You'd be able to kind of roll it out of the way, so you very like carefully, quietly kind of slide the hasp out and get like your arms up under the door as you begin to kind of crank it over. Now you're very small, Holly, so you don't need to move it as far. You like shift the door open just a bit, and almost immediately you feel the cold air kind of begin dumping down in through the tunnel that leads up in front. And then, with your axe at your belt, your shield on your back, you start like making your way up through this tunnel. It's at a pretty gentle pitch, and you follow it for what amounts to about 20 feet until like you hear the pattering of the rain, and your head pops out on this kind of hole, and you can see the building, like Maui's building is just behind you over here. Is are still technically on this map. What I will do is, hang on one second. This should be able to clarity on everything. So Holly, as you like emerge from one of these burrows, and you start like walking around the outside here, you do in fact see in like the dim light of the night, because you are the only one with dark vision. Am I correct? I always get this mixed up.
No, it's only the raccoons.
It is only the raccoons, right? You do not have dark vision, very notably. So I think that like in the darkness of the night and the rain and all of it, like as you step in closer to them, sure, you could see them, right? You just can't see very far. But there are these 6 large, kind of irregular stones jutting up out of the earth. Some of them are like 3 or 4 feet wide and 8 feet tall. Some of them are 5 and 6 feet wide and like 9 feet tall. They're not all consistent, though all of them have holes that appear to have been like kind of bored through them. The holes also not all uniform, and the holes are large, like big enough for you to put yourself through, though probably not Maui, right? But they're not like little, like baseball-sized holes. The stone themselves are a bit greenish in hue, and I think as if you approach one, Holly, looking it over closely in front of you, if you like touch it running your hand over, you could feel where like runes have been carved like deep into the stone, but it's got that this is ancient vibe where like the hard edges are not sharp. Everything is like worn smooth by countless years of kind of wind, right?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, she approaches it and, kind of once again, kind of overwhelmed by curiosity, like reaches out a paw and kind of runs it over the runes and, having no idea what any of it is, but just, I think for the first time this whole adventure, like being on her own in the quiet, and Holly's life has never had a lot of quiet in it. I think that that's part of what she loved about being at Quilliam's place, is that it was quiet. So I think that she's sort of, very kind of unnaturally soaking in kind of the coolness of the night air and just very kind of thinking about everything that's happened since she left Marshview.
Yeah, you sit and just like listen to the sound of the world around you, the kind of thin falling, the gentle breeze, trees, like the last of the kind of leaves stirring around when breeze does kick up, the occasional like cry of an owl far in the woods in the night. You catch the whiffs of kind of wood smoke from the stove and the fireplace coming up out of Maui's chimneys. But yeah, in this like moment of serenity after the chaos of really the last like 10 days since you all got, yeah, shot like just kind of lingers before I guess this is the relevant question. How long are you out? It's tough.
I think she's, yeah. I think it's probably, like I'm trying to think time wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she snuck out, kind of, I think she's kind of the light of like everything around her has just got like, oh, so imperceptibly brighter as like the very beginning of the next day's sunrise would be when she would kind of go back inside.
Okay. Interesting. So I think that we circle back as Almond and Odella sleep, Obi having like walked his silent vigil through the basement chambers of Maui's, as Holly stands in her kind of quiet vigil outside Thin Ring. And yeah, I think it's as like you've walked the circuit enough times to like look for something else to do here that you're going to cast Identify and try to like scope the beads in the pouch. Did I tell you there were 3? Is that correct? Did I make that up? I'm trying to double check. Did I ever tell you how many were in here?
Don't
Are you
remember.
muted, Austin? I can't hear you. Lost you.
No, I don't. In my notes, we've just got the bag. I don't have any note of how
Any
many
actual
seeds there
number.
are.
Correct. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was 3. Real dice, real dice, real dice. I'm going to roll real dice because why not?
Ooh.
Ooh, that one landed on the keyboard. Okay, so you're actively going to cast Identify here, Obi?
Yep, ritually casting. So 10 minutes a seed.
And so, like, we watch as you take, like, one seed out and are sitting with the pearl and the feather working over it. Austin, go ahead and roll a d8.
Ooh. Can I use a real dice too?
Yeah, sure. It's rare
That's a
that
5.
we have opportunities to use real dice in this digital tabletop that we play on these days. A 5. So, one of the seeds which you pull out is red and round shaped. A single wooden shaft grows from the earth and that ignites. It creates a magical torch which can be removed and wielded. It sheds bright red light in a 30-foot radius, dim light in a 30-foot radius beyond that, and you can make melee attacks with this torch as though it were a club, except it deals an additional 2d6 fire damage with the DC of 13. So you have one of these red round seeds. Melissa, roll an 8-sided.
Oh, okay.
2.
2.
Okay. Obi pulls out another one. This one is yellow and oval shaped. And I think as you sit for 10 minutes casting your magic over it, you understand when you plant it, a strong root will grow from the earth bearing a removable wooden burl, which resembles a stoppered bottle. This functions as an ever-smoking bottle, except the cloud of smoke it produces is yellow and smells strangely of mustard.
Wait, like a mustard gas bottle?
Yes.
Yeah, like literally mustard gas.
It's not even a bottle. It's a wooden burl. It's a mustard gas burl. Yep.
Amazing.
Grace, roll it 8-sided. What'd you get?
8.
Ooh. I have no idea what 8 is. It's just the highest number, so I got excited.
It went green. It rolled green.
It's cool, right? It's cool. Obi, yeah, exactly. Yes, it's on my mind. Obi, as you pull out this seed, it is purple and tear-shaped. And spending the 10 minutes casting the Identify over it, you realize it will grow into a huge mushroom with a wooden door in its side and a small stone chimney rising from its cap. Inside of it will be a stone hearth and 5 soft cushions. The person who planted the seed can issue a mental command at any time to lock or unlock the door.
We can plant a mushroom house?
Yes!
Wow.
Yes!
Did it like disappear or anything, or like we just will then have a mushroom house as our home base?
I think they disappear after an hour.
Do they all disappear after an hour? I'm double checking. I have to read the whole thing. Let me double check.
Each object created by a seed that's planted withers into organic mush after an hour. So whether or not a mushroom house is considered an object.
Yeah.
If you guys scrounge craft it for 8 hours, though, it will last.
True. Yeah.
Aston, go ahead and roll an 8-sided die. Excuse me for my coughing fit. You can use roll 20, but yeah, 8-sided. You do whatever.
I got a real one.
Okay.
3.
Ooh, a 3. A 3 is a brown tear-shaped seed. A small tree will grow from where you plant this seed with 1d4 plus 1 red fruits hanging from its branches, which can be eaten as an action and provide the benefits of a potion of healing.
Oh.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, back to Obi. Roll an 8-sided.
That's a 6. We're continuing
Yeah,
numbers.
the unique run here. This one looks a bit like a potato, as it's a russet, oval-shaped seed. If you planted a hollow shell resembling a large ovular seed sprouts from the earth, the shell splits down the middle into 2 halves. Each half can be taken and wielded as a standard shield. Anyone wielding one of these shields has resistance to fire damage. There you go. That's going to save you too. It's not quite cold resistance, but it'll protect you from your fire vulnerability, Canadians. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
1 russet oval. What is that? 5 seeds?
That's 5.
1 more. One of you guys could choose one. Somebody can roll 1 more 8-sided. You have 1 more seed in the bag.
For that, you're identifying them.
All right. That's another 6.
Another
So
6.
that's
So
gonna
you
make
got
another of the shield.
2 of the russet oval seeds, 1 red round seed, 1 yellow oval, 1 purple tier, 1 brown tier. You have 6 seeds altogether, which can do a variety of different things. I have noted this down. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh wow!
What are the
Wondrous
bracers?
kernels.
What do the bracers do?
They grant +2 to your dexterity while you're wearing them. So what I'm going to do is just go on the back of your sheet and we'll do it through the temporary stat bumps. Oops. Hold on. I know how to do this. Yep. Strength, +2 to dex.
Cool.
Nope, not +20, just +2.
Well,
20 would be great.
Do you have a 20 dex? What was your dex?
I do now. 18 was my
Okay.
dex.
Okay.
You know, I almost asked if we were leveling up before this session.
Yeah,
so
can
that I
they?
could get a
Can
20
they?
stat.
They can't make my dex higher than 20, I presume, right?
That's a great question, but no, they can't. They will cap you out at 20, right? So if you use an ASI to max your dex out, then, yep.
Someone else can have them. Yep. Cool.
Yep. There's a couple of specific things that can raise you up
Well,
above
or
21.
you could use that ASI for something else.
True.
Yes, but it's permanent, and I have heard Rich talk about DMing enough time to like take what people love and destroy it. So yeah.
Nobody ever said there aren't beholders in the Humblewood, It's like, you never know, man. So I think that as Obi is finishing up his identify on these seeds, that Holly, you come like shuffling back down the tunnel and hatch. I guess this is an interesting point. Gosh, order of operations here. Would Obi have noticed the hatch open and closed it? That's an interesting point.
Okay, can I make an investigation check to
Yes.
see if I notice the because he was like taking a close look. It's not just like general glancing around, like it's specifically checking him. 15.
I
Would
think
you
with a
have noticed
15, as he's making like his second pass, at least he's like, oh, this isn't right. Now that I've seen how all these hatches are closed, this is not correct at all. This is obviously open. So Holly,
Does he just close it?
yeah, he closes it, he
He just
seals it
closes
up. So Holly, you get to the bottom of the tunnel, and the door is closed. You realize as you're getting closer, there's no light like coming back up, and you're like, uh-oh, you're locked out.
Okay. I guess she is gonna go around to the front door and fall asleep leaning up against the front door.
Oh my god, amazing. It's amazing. It's so good. She's like sleeping outside, and like the sun's starting to slowly come up in that like dim pre-dawn light in the sky. You see the bones of like the battered skeletons scattered all about outside. The corpse of the mage who you guys killed, of the I believe it was like a Gallus that's laying dead there on the floor in his purplish robes, kind of like battered and broken. And so, Holly, you lean up against the door, close your eyes, and as the drizzle kind of dies off, the sky's still a bit gray, you fall into like a fitful slumber. As, Almond, Odella, you two wake up in the morning and you find Obi already up and waiting for you all.
Morning.
And quickly scurries to start making up like some oatmeal or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a hand?
No, I'm fine.
The cobbler that you made was just regular cobbler, right? It's like
I mean,
As
it
in like
wasn't
non-magical
peach.
cobbler?
it's non-magical, right?
Yeah, no. Just
Okay, I think in the
normal
morning
food.
I find it and then eat it for breakfast. Yeah.
Breakfast cobbler.
Let's say
First
like
cobbler's
apple and rhubarb.
Oh, excellent.
Love it.
Strong. I love a breakfast cobbler
That
too, Melissa. Yeah, it's
constitute constitutes a long rest.
Yes, you have gotten a long
Oh,
rest.
yes.
Almond has gotten a long rest. Holly and Obi have not gotten long rests yet, which might not be as big of a deal. But yeah, you guys have not gotten long rest, very notably. As Maui kind of makes his way out, I think that Quilliam would be awake at this point, potentially, or waking up at least, right? And Maui probably is like talking with Quilliam a bit about the curiosity of like this druid who lived here once, this old hedge, the men here circle, what's going on. And I think Maui is like giving you all the whole like, oh, I hope everybody slept okay. Our little friend Holly, she's sleeping in then, I guess, huh? She was very excited to have that room.
Yeah. The biggest
Very
bed she's probably slept in her whole life. So.
Oh gosh, I didn't even
Or
think of
sleep in
that.
it.
Yeah. Oh.
Real-
Just
special
Rich, to
today.
clarify, I do think Holly probably got a short rest. Does that
Yes.
track for you too?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
100%.
I'm just gonna like roll a hit dice to get my health back up to max. There we go.
So yeah, I think that Maui is like, oh gosh, breakfast too. I feel guilty almost, but I'm not gonna mince words. You're a much better cook than I am, so I'm happy to have it.
You're very welcome. And she just like shovels a bowl of oatmeal like right in his face.
I think he's like, I'm going to take your friend here outside. He wants to have a look at the stones, so we're just going to head on up. But there's no rush. Y'all are welcome to stay as long as you need. I mean, even if it's a few days or what, but I know that there's probably a bit of urgency to you, so I don't want to slow you down at all. Let me know if you need anything.
He's gonna show Quilliam the stones.
Mhm.
Join you?
Sure. Y'all are welcome.
Yeah, Almond would like to come and see the stones as well.
Cool. And so I think everybody with like little
Alright.
bowls of porridge. Obi, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Obi takes the bowl of porridge that was served up for Holly and goes and like places it by the door for when Holly wakes up and then heads
Oh no, because then it'll get cold, and we're about to find her anyway because we're about to go outside. But don't want it to get cold.
I love
so you
that you
gotta knock
yeah.
on the door and make sure that.
I don't want to. If she's sleeping, she's sleeping. Let her sleep.
Well, but you
Big
don't want
day
to
yesterday.
upset the chef, eh? I mean, old food,
That's true.
that's a big faux pas.
I mean, you don't have to wake her up. Just go and put the bowl next
A lot
to
of
the
us have
bed
faux
so
pas.
that.
So that the smell, the aroma, will wake her up as
Yeah.
wafts across her. All right, all
Yes,
right.
and
Then
then
a
if
lot
she
of us have
stirs,
four
she
paws,
can have her food. and-
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right, all right. And so
Okay,
Obi pushes open the door to take in and put the oatmeal bowl. Did Holly leave a like dummy Holly under the
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that was sort of my thinking, is that like this is probably not the first time Holly has snuck out in the middle of the night. So yeah, I do think there's like a bundle in the middle of the bed that is basically her pack, just like tucked under the
Under
covers.
the quilt, this
Yeah.
big like heap of the quilt.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, I don't think
breastplate,
it'll
like,
take like a genius to figure it out. But I do think that she did make some very rudimentary attempt.
So Obi like takes the porridge over to the stand by the side of the bed and is like, gosh, she's a very quiet sleeper, and so still.
Quiet.
Yeah. I mean,
So unlike when she's running around with that pack and breastplate clattering all over the place. So quiet. He's got an 11 passive perception, only a 12 passive investigation. I think he probably falls for it.
And so yeah, I think as Obi like makes his way out of the room, like closing the door quietly so as not to wake up Holly, right? And the group of you make your way upstairs. There is this point where like Maui goes to the door.
Aiden's gonna be so mad at me when he watches this, and I pulled all of this when his character passive 16 wasn't here to
I know.
figure it out.
And so Maui like goes to the door and like lifts the bar up, pulling the door open. And I think that you guys see the tiny form of Holly like collapse backwards into the building as like she's leaning against the door. It opens in and she just like falls backwards into the room. Holly, you're like awakened. Yeah. Oh gosh, hey. What the heck are you doing out there?
I got up early and thought I'd, make sure everything was, same tip-top shape.
Now, Holly, you may be able to fool the rest of them, but you know that I know the truth. She's
Okay,
very
Almond quickly
young.
runs back to the bedroom to get the bowl of porridge.
We just see Almond like sprinting away as she like vanishes. We hear the hooves on the steps as she like races back down. Quilliam like lecturing, and he's just looking at Maui like the young youth, it's wasted on them, as he like starts to make his way out of the door.
You found it. You found the Welsh accent. Yeah.
I love how you've also turned Quilliam into Yoda.
Yeah, well, hey, happens. I turned everyone into Yoda, Melissa. This is just it's just a Phillyism. It sounds much wiser when you invert the adverbs and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, Maui like leads you back out. Almond makes her way back up, handing you this bowl of porridge, Holly. Yeah, you guys can all like head outside.
Oh, thank you. The cobbler was really good too. I ate that quick.
Babs Babs. Oh my god.
There it is.
I know. Odella's sitting at the before they go out when like Almond had made the porridge and is like trying the new hands of like it works pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty
How's
good.
it working for you? Well enough?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Get it. I'll get used to it. Yeah.
It takes time. But yeah. You've got a full-on brace and it will help you the way you need to go.
Somehow I feel more dexterous than I did yesterday.
Amazing.
We did a good job. It look, when you construct things, where you match onto the pentatonic scale, everything just sounds natural. It feels natural. It flows well. You said I shouldn't bother, but do.
That's right. Do. That's what they always say. Do.
Playing her hand like a xylophone?
I have spent way too much of my brain power in the last 90 seconds trying to figure out what kind of joke Maui could make about the pentatonics, but I just didn't get there. So I did want to just like stop that and acknowledge the cells that I consumed in that effort. Like, mad respect to you guys. Sorry. So I think that Maui is like, he's walking around the circles. Like, you guys feel free to ask me any questions as like he's just kind of escorting Quilliam in this slow stroll around the outside. I think he is also very nervously, like, continually looking up to the woods. His confidence certainly bolstered by the fact that all of you are out here with him, and he's walking through his lawn, wherein the bones of long-dead bird skeletons are, like, scattered everywhere, as well as the corpse of a dead Gallus laying out here in the rain, yeah.
I'm gonna move, though.
Oh, no,
Maui. We could... move them.
I've got a shovel there, eh? I mean, he was a bit of a jerk at the very least, but we can dig a proper place for him. In the end, we all face the same fate. I guess except for these folks. Gosh, that's scary to think about.
Let's not then.
Oh no.
It's and Obi helps Ode to get rid of the bodies.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a quiet, like a grave digging ceremony that happens here. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys have like any
Whimsy!
questions. Yeah, exactly. We love whimsy. Adorable forest critters digging graves in the rain. You know?
I do think, given we're out in the rain, every 5 minutes or so, Obi does like stop to like press the digitation himself dry again, and like the same for Ode, and then like we keep going.
It's a very
With
thin.
bards and hating being wet.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's a very thin drizzle that's falling. It's not like a pounding rain that you guys are like getting drenched, right? It's one of these days where there's almost just like this mist in the air. It's like turning into thin drizzle occasionally. Yes, so I don't know.
I
You're
think
speaking my
it's that
language,
point-
Rich. The Pacific
Yeah.
Northwest, constant drizzle. Love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's that point where it's like it's fine, like until you start feeling it through the clothes, and then
Yes.
that's when he prestidigitates. Like
Yep.
it's not that he has an issue with the water or rain. It's just like doesn't want to catch a chill, and certainly doesn't want his freshly re-alive sister to get sick either.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any like specific questions you guys have here. I think like he and Quilliam are talking a lot, and he's got a lot of like, I'm not sure, eh? You know, as Quilliam's asking him all these weird druid questions.
Like, Odella's biggest question is like, has anybody explained that they are like magical stones? I mean, they look magical, right? They like certainly look canna in nature, right?
Yeah. I think,
So it asked if
Obi
like,
would have said what he knew at some point. Over digging the graves would have filled Ode in.
very clearly not being any sort of spellcaster, being like, so they got any magic left in them or what?
Quite a
Yeah,
bit.
Does the whatever this is carved in them? Does it mean anything?
I think Quilliam is like, indeed it does, Holly. Yes. These are very old letters. Older than me. That's very old.
Yeah, it is very old.
And yeah, I think that Quilliam would like, this is like, there's certainly still some magic in these. I would very much like some more time to have a look at them. Now he's like, well, there really is no rush. I mean, you're welcome to stay. I mean, I'm not sure how quick you all need to get to Magni's Hold with everything that's happening here, but
Kind of a rush,
Has-
right?
Yeah, what sort of
Good
time
dream,
frame are we
darling.
on?
Gonna be
the-
the ones with
there
the
were-
horn.
They were ahead of us, right? The folks with the horn, they'd been ahead of us heading to
No.
Magni.
No, they
Uh,
were
They're
behind us in Saltersport when we left.
they were
So
behind.
they're
me.
coming up behind us.
Yep, last session
And I think we
started
should-
with Almond like catching up and telling you like they just left the city and they're on their way.
That's right.
And we
Okay.
don't have a lot of time to dally. If we, they could be only a few hours behind us. If they traveled through the night, then they might have even gotten ahead of us, depending on how urgently they are pursuing. So as much as I want to enjoy your hospitality further, Maui, I don't know if we've got too much time to spare.
Ooh, I understand. Is there anything you need? I'm going to pack you up a basket of food and such for the road. I've got a couple of nice bottles of mead I can send you with. I'm not sure. Do you need anything else?
A shopkeeper, do you make your own products to sell, or are you sort of more of a supply folks with the basics on their journey along the road?
I'm a bit of an herbalist, yeah, an apothecary of sorts. I'm not quite as accomplished as the last fellow that lived here or nothing, but I do okay. I've got a few ointments and tinctures and the like, such like that.
Anything of interest that you're particularly proud of that you think we should take for a road test, perhaps?
Perhaps I do, yeah. Perhaps I do. Let me go gather you up a basket of things here. I'll make my way right back out.
You are a champion, Maui. Thank you.
And I think that Quilliam is like saying to you guys, I know we're in a real rush, but I think it would be very wise for me to stay so the dungeon master doesn't have to try to keep doing this accent for the whole rest of the session. I think we need to split the party, and I can do some druid research on these stones.
Of course.
I'll stay behind and make sure you're protected while you do that.
No, Holly, no. That just won't do.
Then let us get going then. Thank you, Quilliam. We'll make sure we you can send
Oh, my
Was it,
little friends can
your-
find you.
your little
Don't
friends
worry.
can find us, I'm sure. I can never remember their names. There's so many of them.
Like Steve and Joe and Philip.
Yeah.
I call this one Liam. And a flea jumps off his finger right at you.
That. Well, thank you, Quilliam. Is everyone else feeling okay to get going? I don't want to rush us, but we've already burned some daylight already.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we're in a rush.
All right. Well, once we kind of get the sense of from Maui, I think of whatever he's got that's worth buying, we'll head on.
Okay, so he comes
We have
back
any
out.
gold, right?
He comes out and he's got a basket. You guys did blow a lot of your gold. He comes out and he's got this basket, and it's got over it like a cloth kind of like wrapped up, bundled with whatever inside, and he's carrying it under the crook of his arm as he kind of brings it over to you and unfurls the cloth on top. And you see 3 bottles of mead. There's 2 like big heavy loaves of bread, a wheel of cheese, a bunch of apples in there. And then notably, there's one like kind of short, squat crock and like glass jar that has this shimmering red liquid in it. And he's like, this one here, I can't take credit for it. And he lifts up the crockery and he's like, old Cyrus, he made this one, eh? It was here waiting for me when I moved in. But from what I can gather on it, he like points to like this little kind of label that's on the bottom and puts it back in the basket or turns it, kind of showing it to you. He says, this one here, if you drink it, well, it's going to give you some real incredible strength. And you see on the label, it just looks like a little picture of like a bicep, like a muscular bicep.
Amazing.
So like the emoji.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly that. And then he's like,
Ooh.
I'm not sure I'm ever going to find any kind of real use for this here other than to cut firewood. So I'm sending it with you all. But this I did make was the first one I brewed after I got here. And, well, the ingredients in this part, they're real strong. So this one, well, it'll just put a little pep back in your step after you're getting worn down, the like such. And so it's just a greater healing potion, 4d4 plus 4.
How much for the one you brewed yourself?
You will have to just promise that once you're done with all your questioning and whatnot, if you make your way back through this neck of the woods, you stop by and cook me another breakfast.
We once again all look at Almond, like all of it.
Yeah.
It's turning it. I can't promise that. Yeah.
I'm sure you don't want anything cooked by me.
Well, if you say so, I believe you. You seem like a real honest sort, Mr. Obi.
I try. But,
Eh.
Before we
Thank you so
go,
much.
like maybe while Maui was in gathering things, I almost said Ayla. It's really hard having 2 A names. Almond is going to cast one of her 3rd level spells, which is Invoke the Amaranthine. So I've just thrown it into the chat. So, okay, what have I got to do? I've got to roll 2
2d20s.
d20s. And for each die, choose either attack roll, skill check, or saving throw.
Oh, this is wild. This
Um,
is like the diviner ability. This is a great little spell.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. Let's go one attack roll and one saving throw, I think is one of the recorded numbers of that is type of roll you wish to replace. Okay, so this is the attack roll.
I think you can even choose after you roll, Aston. I think you can like get the numbers and then decide what you want to use them for.
Well, no, because then I need to I then make the choice about whether or not to use it. Well, yeah, see, I could technically do that, but the way it's written kind of sounds like I've got to choose it now. So then I know that I'm using the 10 on an enemy's attack roll within the next 24 hours. Kind of.
So it sounds like, yeah, it says
I'm not going
roll
to use a 10 on one of us.
and then it says choose, right? So I think, because that makes much more sense. If
I'm
you
just saying,
roll
yeah,
a low number as
you
an attack roll like that, you won't make it an attack roll. You'll want to make it something
You can
else,
roll the two numbers and figure out what the numbers are and then decide. You still have to decide now what you're going to use them for, but you could see what the numbers are. You don't have to pick before you roll, is all I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay.
Yep. Get your pair of numbers and then you can assign like what they're useful for.
Okay.
Oh, and you could do ally or enemy.
Oof.
It's very good. It's like the
So a
diviner.
10 and a 12.
It's a really good one.
We still get to add modifiers, so
Oh yeah, that's just the base roll
or
on the
make
die.
them like an enemy's attack roll or something, right? Like
Yeah.
the enemy
Yeah,
also
I'll
gets
take
to
it
make it
options.
their attack or their add their modifiers, so it feels like
for sure.
the 10 maybe is a it's like a feels like on the edge of whether it might
Yeah,
hit or
whatever
miss
you want.
somebody.
I feel like the 10 needs to go to a saving throw.
To kind of target an enemy.
I'm just gonna refill my drink real quick while you guys consulted.
I think both. I think there's a chance that we might have like so one of us might have a really high if we have a high enough modifier on a saving throw, and it also is like if you find out that they have like a +0 on that saving roll, you can make them right. Like I think
Exactly.
making it a saving throw I think could be useful both ways.
Yeah. All right. Saving throws. And those last for 24 hours or until they are used.
It's very
It's a
cool.
cool
So
spell.
hopefully
It's a great one.
I remember that I've got them.
Also try to remember them. Yeah.
When
Yeah,
we,
that's a
inevitably use them the next time we play a month and a half from now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2
exactly.
months from now and it's still the same night, right? It's like, can we please get a rest?
Every time we play in October, I'll remember.
It's like Adine's ability. That's cool.
Okay, as you are, you've done this before Maui came back. As Maui is kind of like sending you all on your way, he hands you the basket. I don't know if you guys like are taking it or carrying it, but I think that you see him like reach around and he pulls out something else that's like wrapped up in cloth, and it's a very a strange looking object. It looks odd as he pulls around, like not heavy, but oddly shaped, like a weird kind of triangle wrapped in like this big piece of cloth. And he's like, I also want to send you with this. It was another something that I inherited from old Cyrus with the house here. Well, I happen to know just what it was. And I think he looks to you, probably, Almond, and is like, I don't mean to presume too much, but, well, Kaira's folk, like yourself and mine, will, hear about such kind of things and stories when you're little and the like from your parents. And so when I saw these, I was quite struck by them. And it turns out they're exactly what I thought they might be. But the truth of the matter is, I think they're going to be a heck of a lot more useful for what you all are doing than anything I'm going to use them for. So, you take them on your adventure And if the day ever comes where you swing back through here and you want to give them back to old Maui, that's fine. I can use them hunting for truffles and all manner of orchids out in the wood and such. But for now, I think you need to take these with you on your journey. And he hands you guys over this strange package. Who takes it? You take it, Almond?
I think the almond, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
unfurl
yeah.
it? You open it up here?
Thank you. Yeah.
So as you pull like the cloth off the top of it, you realize what you have in your hands is this very ornate set of antlers. It's actually just one antler that's been like carved down into a single piece, but it's like a divining rod kind of. The kind of rolling parts of the antlers kick back around such that you can hold it and point the single end like a triangle in front of you, just like a divining rod. And fundamentally, you can use this, seek for specific things. And now he just like is nodding over. Seemed like you all are looking for, well, things a bit more important than truffles and orchids. So I really, I can't thank you enough for what you did here, and I won't go sharing too much news of your passing, but if you ever need anything at all, you know where old Maui's place is, and I'd be happy to have you here anytime.
Easier to find with that thing now.
Oh yeah. I wish you all well. I hope you get up to Magni's without too much trouble.
It's Maui.
Thank you so much. I cannot say how wonderful and hospitable of a host you've been. You should really, let the Strig know about the whole Air D&D thing. This would be a wonderful, wonderful experience if it is something you're interested in, of course. But if not, hopefully,
you need to invent Air D&D as like you need to find a D&D group to play Air D&D. We need to invent that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's me. That's basically me. I'll
That's
air D&D.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, Rich is
just called
Air
hiring
D&D.
Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Call me. I'll air D&D. Yeah, I got you. So I think that the camera kind of like pulls up away as we see the overhead shot of like this small hill, the rolling fence around it, these tall menhir stones circling the small circular stone cottage at the top with its many kind of burrows beneath. And we watch as now 4 of the 5 of you make your way, meandering kind of east and then twisting north on the road that carves along this portion of the Humblewood, as it is affectionately. And so you are all back on the road. The day is chilly, colder than yesterday. It's getting a bit nippier out, though not like biting cold yet. And the mist kind of like gives after a while. There's these banks of fog that you guys are moving through at certain points. They start to break off as you're getting further away from the sea and the day wears on. The drizzle kind of comes and goes, but this perpetual gray blanket kind of plastered across the sky above you. The sun diffused through it. I don't know if there's anything you guys are like talking about as you're going and you're walking, but ultimately after about 2 hours, you guys, you make it to the tree line and are making your way now up like into the wood itself.
Holly, did you sleep outside?
No, not really.
Inside check
Except
that?
inside. Sure.
It's not true.
11. Well, you use no, I guess yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm waiting for Almond to be like, actually, no, you can use that.
I know. I was gonna make that joke, and it was a saving throw.
Yeah.
Just get you.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, like, she's not really lying. She didn't sleep outside. She
True.
was outside.
Okay, well then, yeah. And you can sleep or sit wherever you want, but it's want you to be safe. Not that you couldn't beat up literally anybody. You know, I was kind of off on my own last night, and then died. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You didn't. You're fine. So.
I know, but what was... But you did. Like, what's it... Sorry, maybe that's...
Oh,
Mom always said I shouldn't just ask every question that came to my head.
good question. It's a little fuzzy. I mean, I say that both literally and metaphorically because I think I met like a god, half, like a raccoon who's fuzzy, but it's a little bit blurry. I think it was up to me. I was done yet or not, which I wasn't expecting. And so I looked back and I saw you all. Thought I'd come back. Wasn't alone anymore.
You did.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm just saying you don't have to be. Unless you want to be alone. I'm contradicting myself, but...
Times alone is good. But not if it's, you know, in the, like, dead alone. That seems bad, generally.
If you're gonna be alone, you should make sure to have
Be
a little...
alive.
Yeah, and have a little dagger, so if somebody tries to sneak up on you... That's the best thing to, like, get somebody when they try to sneak up on you when you're alone.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was gonna hit him with my axe if I had to, but yeah.
That's good, too. Yeah.
So
Right.
the conversation goes.
I think,
yeah, Austin, go for it.
yeah, and I think as sort of Holly and Adela sort of pull ahead, Obi falls in line with Armand and sort of looks up to her at one point and is just, "You've got sisters and brothers too, right?"
One sister and one brother.
Have you ever been apart from them?
Well, I'm apart from them right now.
Well, before now, is what I meant.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we all sort of lead our own lives. I probably spend more time with Andy than I do with Tasha, but yeah, I mean, we're fairly, like, we're close, but we're still fairly independent. We're still our own people. Well, servants.
Have you ever thought about... This is so dark. Have you ever thought about what it would be like if they weren't there?
I mean, not consciously, but you know, I am a cleric. This is sort of my arena of things. So, I mean, I've probably got a much more comfortable relationship with that sort of thing than most people do. You know, it's just part of life. You know, it's...
I mean, I guess that's your whole thing, isn't it? Like, keep people together, helping people through... I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, if nothing else can be done in the moment, then you sort of have to find peace with that and kind of believe that if for whatever reason that it was just their time. Now that's not to say that, I don't like to diminish things with a belief of everything happens for a reason, because that's not always helpful or appropriate. But we've got things in our skill sets that mean we can do everything that we can to heal someone or bring someone back or prevent the worst from happening. But if at the end of the day all of those skills just don't work, then that's sort of how it's meant to be, I suppose. And I've always sort of found a peace in that notion, but I understand that that's not necessarily going to work for everybody.
I see what you're saying. I'm just so glad that we were able to do something. Use what skills we had for Ode this time. This last year has been just so full of loss. I parted ways with my partner, and he just wanted to do something different, and we just decided to go our own ways. But then I got injured, and he stepped back in to take up all of my roles in the troop. So it was like we came back together, only to go apart again. And then Ode, I've really not seen her much over the last several years because she was off in Salters and doing her own thing, and we've just come back together again. But then for that moment, we were apart. And I just hope that we'll always be able to use our skills to keep ourselves, to keep together. I don't want to lose her again. And I don't want her to have to lose me. I don't want us to have to go and tell Andy that we've lost you, or however many of Holly's siblings that we've lost her.
I certainly hope we never have to worry about those things either, but at the same time, and again, I understand that this doesn't necessarily work for everybody as a notion, but I have to believe that even if people physically leave us, they never emotionally or spiritually leave us. As long as we keep remembering them and loving them, they're always going to be with us, and vice versa. And
the community
they
doesn't
never
end with the grave.
Exactly. I always think that as long as there's some of us here remembering, then the person never truly dies.
That's a sweet notion. Thank you.
She'll hand him an apple.
Now this is a sweet notion.
Mm.
The crunching pop of the apple, right? The screen probably like fades to black as we open back up some hours later, with the group of you having journeyed through these southern reaches of the Humblewood, of this southern section of the Yuirwood in the far reaches of Agaron, forgotten elves. And so, yeah, you guys press northwards, and I think that you have a clear sense of where you need to like break off of the main roads to begin to like journey towards Magni's Hold here. Specifically you, Obi, right, having been like the most well-traveled of everybody. So you've been like working up along, like it kind of moving along the edge of the tree line, and you get to like this major intersection of where these three roads kind of fork, meeting together. And you're going to break off on this trail, ultimately. It's not one of like the heavily beaten kind of trade roads that can fit a pair of wagons on it, you know, a 4-track trail or 2-track. Yeah, you left Maui's a little bit later in the day, given the morning of porridge and conversation. And so I think that it's probably somewhere in that region of like 5, 6 in the evening, as the group of you have been walking for what's approaching a solid 8 hours. The forest itself, mostly hardwoods, which have lost their leaves, the oaks, the maples, but amidst them, as you're getting further north, you're starting to come into these deep stands of conifers, of spruces and cedars, of pine trees, right? And it's just this extra layer of kind of darkness and gloom that's shutting off like the dwindling light, as it were, above. And I think that you hear like the rumble of thunder in the distance, some flashes through the treetops. More, Melissa, don't test me. Welsh accents, not great. Trees, I can do lots. So
I mean, we've played GeoGuessr, I know.
That's very true. I think that as the wind begins to pick up, the wet, like heavy leaves kind of blowing around on the ground around you, cutting in these arcing swirls at the base of the trees as you're heading further, the rain begins to fall heavier. You hear it pelting the branches, the dead trees, the stones of the forest around you. And even through the cover of this heavy tree canopy, drips falling, the wetness beginning to accumulate. And so you continue for this kind of like last hour. You're pretty sure you're going to be able to like make it here tonight if you push. My question is, do you guys want to, or yeah, we keep moving, try to get here tonight?
I'm curious, as we're sort of heading, have we seen any sign of a group ahead of us?
Yeah, really great
See
question.
if they've maybe managed to pass us on the way through.
It's very notable that you have not passed any travelers like heading south. You haven't passed anyone on the road like making their way south to Saltersport, which is, for a day this long, it's a little bit unusual. Like, you know, most folk in the Humblewood don't travel much. You're an anomaly. But you usually see somebody over 8 hours on the main roads, right? So do you see signs of a group in front of you? How are you guys looking? Like, you're looking in the tracks, on the road, on the kind of... So yeah, let's have somebody make either a survival or or an investigation check, probably, as you guys are looking actively. Any of you could roll either of them.
Amon's got pretty good survival.
Yeah, I think we're helping.
Okay, so we're gonna help. So with a 21, Almond, you like note as you're going, and there's this like perpetual kind of like checking of the trail in front of you. It does not seem, the ground is soft and wet given all the rain of these past days. It's not like you see heavy tracks in front of you. You're finding like the tracks of what you might expect, wagon tracks here, a couple of like travelers there, but it's not like you see anything that feels like a large group moving on the road in front of you. Pretty confident.
And nothing like super fresh.
No. It looks like you feel like, like a cart came through here yesterday. You're finding like very fresh kind of animal tracks that are crossing back and forth across the road.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like anybody's traveled up this road north today in front of you.
Okay.
What conclusions that leads you to draw is your own. But yeah, I think that as we are like approaching the end of your kind of 8 hours of travel, we're at that like kind of 6 o'clock range of the day, the darkness kind of fully coming on now. You, Obi, would realize like you're very close. You've now come into this series of these towering like hemlocks and cedars, which are massive. They are big trees. The kind of trees that most of the structures and the kind of villages, the cities, I should say, in the Humblewood are often built in. Massive, ancient kind of old growth trees, right? And you come like walking through this trail until it leads you up to the butt of this one kind of archaic cedar tree, big enough around that it would take 3 of you, like arm to arm, to reach your arms around the base of the trunk. And there is a winding wooden staircase that will bring you up from the floor of the forest to the boughs of the trees above, leading towards Magni's Hold. What are you guys doing about light, for those of you who cannot see?
Think. Do I not have torches? I assumed
I picked up my bullseye lantern that I left on the ground when I died.
Yep.
Okay,
I know you guys have light sources. Yep.
I'll light the
Yeah, I
hooded
mean,
lantern.
Holly's got a torch if she needs it.
Okay. Well, as Odell lights like the bullseye lantern and is like carrying, that's enough light for all of you. I just wanted to make sure I'm tracking like where the light's coming from. So yeah, you guys make your way up this winding kind of wooden staircase, and you climb a solid 70 feet up into the branches of this trees, where there is a suspended kind of like rope bridge leading to a platform on a larger tree. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever been inside Magni's Hold before, Obi? Or is it more like you've passed through here and like taken this trail?
I think I'm trying to remember what the context was when I'd asked if I'd been through before and had awareness of it, of what the specifics were of that, but I don't see specifics in my notes, which is
it like a
great
big enough city that
for
it
me.
would like hold entertainment?
It's not a city.
Is it like
it's not a city. It's more like a
it's
single
more of a
monastery,
right? Yeah. I feel like it's probably more of the kind of place where like Obi wouldn't have been to the hold itself. Like he might have like they might have like stopped, like the Kalator troop might have like stopped and like performed nearby for maybe like small folks, sort of like, you know, almost like a road performance, and maybe folks from the hold did visit that performance, but like he probably hasn't been to the hold itself, I don't think.
Got it. So as you all are approaching, this is a new sight for all of you. The beam of the bullseye lantern cutting this kind of swath of light through the darkness in front as Odella is kind of moving it, maneuvering it with her new agile prosthetic hand here. And yeah, you guys are like walking on kind of like what amount to like these rope bridges. And ultimately you come off of like a platform on one large tree to another rope bridge that then takes you along the massive limb of this kind of ancient twisted ironwood tree, sometimes called Valenwood trees, which are very strong wood. It's used for a lot of like structural stuff, and they're often built in. And as you guys come around and you pitch the lantern up, I think you see the rain like falling heavily. You see lanterns glowing in front of you on what amounts to like a trail. And you're like walking down the limb of this large tree that suddenly like reaches out to this other huge limb that's got literally like huge growths of moss on it. Enough that it feels almost like a big, huge, flat like platform that you're walking on, right? The notion of how far up you are kind of very disconnected. Because you can't see the ground and you have no sort of sense of it as you go. And I will move wall to a map. As you begin to follow, you see the lanterns are clearly creating a trail leading you in a direction. They are glowing with this orange light from within. They're like, all of them are built right down into the tree branch, a post coming up with almost like a pagoda style roof on top of it, and these orange flames burning inside that seem to be casting no smoke. They're just like glowing, giving this soft kind of dim light. And as you follow these lanterns around and they begin to pitch, you see rising up out of the darkness these two kind of enormous statues and what amounts to a bit of a bridge that appears to have been woven together out of like vines and tree branches that have been coaxed and grown to weave into one another, like a kind of like large sprawling bridge from this massive kind of mossy platform that you find yourself standing on to a building on the far distant side. You see like the building itself is structured again with these kind of pagoda style roofs and much the same styling as the lanterns are. And there's a series of lanterns kind of glowing in the heavy pummeling rain on the other side. But like two large kind of guards on either side of this bridge are these massive, behemoth, towering statues of what appear to be like Raptorans. These two Raptoran beings that are kind of face to face with their wings outstretched behind them, each of them with their hands brought together, clasped palm to palm in front of their chest, their elbows extended on either side, and they kind of stand this silent, watchful vigil over the bridge that leads you to the far side. And the hold itself. We'll move our window so our friends can see some of this map. It's going to be tough. My situation here is not ideal for map viewing, you guys. I know it could be better. I'd love to give it more state, but as such, beginning of the kind of beautiful.
Is there enough light with the lanterns that do I need my lantern on?
No, you don't really necessarily anymore. It's still all like dim light, right? But yeah, your lantern's not necessarily like making that a heck of a lot better.
I would turn it off just because avoid detection.
You shut the lantern off, and so the four of you find yourself on the far side of this kind of bridge of vines and branches leading to Magny's Hold on the other side. What do you guys want to do?
Stealthily move across.
My gosh, what do we do?
Yeah.
Can
think we're
I,
just approaching, right?
Just very with the statues, would I like? I've never been to Magny's Hole, but in Saltersport, presumably people like might have come down from Magny's Hole. Like, who these statues are?
I think it's a
anybody
very
important?
interesting note that you might have like heard of this place before, but you've never actually met anybody who's like, oh yeah, I studied up there, or I'm from there. Like you would have met people who are like, yeah, I've been there. I delivered food there. I brought such and such there. I did work there once, right? So go ahead and make a history check though as you're scoping the statues, trying to get a sense of who they would be.
17.
17. So you have a sense that they represent the gods of the Amaranth, of perhaps, like, it's hard to tell in the night and the weather with the kind of diffuse light as it is, but you get the indication that they are these like mirrored pair, one or the other. And Tython is typically depicted as a more owl-like being, but you get the sense that one is much darker than the other. The actual stone that it's formed of, right? And that while they are not necessarily traditional depictions, the gods are interpreted in many ways by the folk of the wood, right? And there is this sense of like light and darkness, the mother and the father, the kind of, night and day.
And then move stealthily across.
Is everybody going to try to move stealthily across?
Sure.
I'm gonna try to move
Have to.
across. I don't know how stealthy it's gonna be.
Okay.
It's dim light.
It is dim light.
Mapach get advantage.
Uh,
Yeah.
12.
Feel
That
free
is
to
something
correct.
I absolutely would need.
Yeah, feel free to correct the marching order if you guys want to like straighten yourselves out or run out of a good spot. Gosh, 17, 14, 19, and a 24. Holy cow.
Mine's
23
12.
for me with the
I'm pretty sure I'm
advantage.
at disadvantage.
Oh,
right?
you are at disadvantage. Yeah, correct. Yeah, so 12 and a 23. That's great. You all are coming across. Can I have the four of you all make perception checks as well, perhaps?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. I think that Holly, the reason that you probably like make some noise is
Wow.
because you hear amidst the kind of like there's a peal of thunder, a flash of lightning in the sky even closer, and I think underneath the rumble of the thunder you hear this sound. Those large Jerbeen ears of yours like swivel and pivot, and you hear this like. And you turn, like, looking up, and in the flash of the blue light against the sky, that instant where everything is lit up, you catch the silhouette of a large, like, winged figure dropping down from the sky towards you guys. To that extent, I'm going to say, everybody click your tokens and roll initiative.
Yes!
My roll 20 took ages to load the map, and now it finally has, and it is beautiful.
So beautiful.
It's a pretty
so
stunning map.
Look at it.
Another great
map.
map from Set Peku, two separate individuals. I at least know that if I can't pronounce the name.
Them.
They're very good. It's very, very
Yeah.
I
are we
love
doing?
them so
Initiative.
much.
Great.
They do gorgeous stuff. Initiative!
Why is it? I'm having the same initiative problem that I've been having in our other game.
What is that problem?
I don't know.
It's
I
not
click the token.
into the order, yeah.
Well and truly click the token, and then when I click initiative, it says you wanted to send the result of this roll to the turn tracker, but no valid token was selected. I selected the token.
I have, a couple of my clients have this problem regularly, and I have not adequately deciphered what is really happening, why this is an issue. So, I'm trying to get to the bottom.
Austin's looked at it for me, and we have not been able to figure it out.
It's all set up the way it should be. It's just not listening.
Yeah, it's annoying sometimes. Oh gosh, I just had a major.
So yes, I will need to be
Okay.
added manually.
One instant. Oop, did anything just appear on the screen there? I just tried to upload something. I don't think it worked. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Oh, yeah, there we go.
There it is.
There's the thing.
Yep.
Ah.
Yep.
You really didn't need to make that bigger.
Yeah, I know. I know, right? So with that being said, everybody is surprised except for Holly Goodtail. I will get my initiative going for my guy here. Oh gosh, where cheats? What have I done? Sorry, just bear with me one instant here. Install my stuff. I'm a professional.
That you are, Rich. You
Yeah.
are a professional.
Yeah.
What's happening here? That's not correct.
Oh, right. Yeah, wrong folder. That would be exactly what it's not working. Think. Okay, cool.
Armor class.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
A lot of 18s.
Yeah, it sure is. What's your dex, Holly?
+4.
Wow!
Yeah, she's so dexy.
Holly Goodtail. You see what can only be described as it's dropping in closer now, moving kind of impossibly fast towards you. a massive kind of 12-foot tall figure. The wings are stretched out at least twice that, probably 20 feet end to end. You see feathers kind of like trailing away as it drops, and as it comes down into like the range of illumination from the lanterns that are glowing all around you, you see a creature that you think is a bird folk for a second, except its size is just too big. And it has these almost like bony kind of gills on its throat, this red mottled kind of warty skin on its head, a twisted beak coming down. Its feathers like range from like blue to black, but as it really starts like dropping down in close, gosh, how far away is it from you? I'm gonna say it's probably about like 40 feet away as we're like opening the initiative turn. You can see that like its chest just looks like this kind of twisted sinew, like all kinds of like warped and tied over itself. It's a horrific looking creature. It is coming right for you and your friends. What would you like to do?
Okay, can you clarify for me 40
Yes.
feet, how much of that is ahead of me and how much of that is above me?
So it's going to be like a vertically above, right? And it's kind of situated above the statue off to the side. Like the horizontal distance is exactly what it looks like. Like it's only 15 feet away, like kind of horizontally. The 40 is vertical.
That's unfortunate. Okay.
It is. It's kind of annoying. You have the statue over here, which like is higher than that, right? Like it raises up at least to that height if you want to do anything like insanely dangerous. Yeah.
Oh, that's so tempting.
Remember what I said about being alone? But you can absolutely do it. I don't mean to. I don't.
But I can catch you if you fall.
Sometimes it's good, right?
Sometimes it's good, and you can make your own decisions. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Holly's got 30 feet of movement, so is that enough to sort of like climb up and try to? Well, it's 40 feet, so she can't get there. No matter what. That's annoying.
It is. It's annoying.
I guess she just shoots it. Gosh, this like early initiative is really. So she's gonna fire her crossbow.
I feel
It's
for
gonna
you,
miss.
Melissa. Sometimes the early initiative breaks my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, and crossbow's a loading weapon, so that's all she can do. And she, I'm already forgetting if help needs. She can't help because she's not within 5 feet of it. That is her entire stinking turn.
Gosh,
She's gonna move forward like a little bit, but
I'm terribly sorry. Yeah, you can move and reposition if you want.
yeah.
And
I think she's just, making a big ruckus, trying to draw its attention.
Okay, so we see Holly like fire the crossbow into the air, and as she starts like yelling at it, like charging forward a little bit, it turns, eyeing you. I'm going to give you guys the D4. I'm going straight down the line, starting with Holly as 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we got? Oh yeah,
Big ruckus.
definitely you have captured its attention as a lot of you for the first time get a look at this thing. Everybody else is still surprised. So it goes from Holly right to the rock, which drops down in on top of you.
What was it called?
It is a rock. Though it's not necessarily a name that you guys would be familiar with. Yeah, I'm putting it right here.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, it's actually. I can't believe you knew that it was Dwayne.
What a groan! Oh.
It's done with respect and admiration.
Okay, great. Thank
you. Okay, it hits the ground in front of you, Holly. Its claws like digging down, rending into the kind of vines and the branches underneath you, and it's just like looking down at you, and I think you hear in this like twisting voice, "Do you have the swords? Surrender the swords!" And
We don't have them, you big dummy.
And then out of like the sinews and the kind of like, it's almost like a mirror as it's now looming over you. The chest of this thing underneath the feathers, it's all this like flesh and sinew that's woven into itself in kind of the same way that almost the vines underneath you are. And it's just like, then you will die. And these spores burst out from it. I need everybody except for Obi to make a Constitution saving throw versus poison.
Remember, you do have your...
Yes, don't forget the cool rolls. DC is 14, Constitution save. That's a pass.
Okay, I have advantage. Oh, no, wait. That's for concentration checks.
Only for
Okay,
concentration,
so...
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow! Critical
Got a
one.
+4.
Can
Can
it's your
I
reaction, right?
use... Oh, yeah, how do those things work? Can I use one of those saving throws?
Sure. You just burn your reaction and you use the one that you wanted
I
as a
spare
save.
my reaction?
Yep.
I will use the 12, which will make it a 16.
Cool. So you are not poisoned. You burn one of your 2 Amaranth's blessings. Everybody takes 1 point of poison damage. As this thing is just like kind of standing here looming over the lot of you. That is its turn. We come back around, the rest of you all being surprised. Actually, Odella is going to go first because I think your dex is higher than
Actually,
Holly's.
me.
Oh,
Because I'm not in the
Almond's not the
initiative
order.
order yet.
Oh, yeah.
She got 21.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I rolled a
I'm sorry.
21.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
It's all right.
forgot to add you in.
And
Yep.
then Odes is 5 now because of the bracers, so she beats me.
Yeah.
Almond with a 21 as you use like your quick wits to call on the Amaranth's blessing, driving off the poison that was about to take hold of you. What would you like to do?
Oh boy. Okay. Almond is 15-foot radius. Okay. Am I able to walk around Odella?
Yeah,
Or
for
is
sure.
that-
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
You can move
Without
through
falling
my
off the-
space, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
that's
can
true.
always move through friendly spaces, but yeah, you're good on
Cool.
any of those. Yep.
And then because she doesn't have a quarterstaff, and this is the sort of thing I would normally kind of describe with quarterstaff, she has her mace, so she's just gonna like bring it down and smack it into the ground and cast Spirit Guardians.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Okay, so how do I want to describe my Spirit
I
Guardians?
don't know. Are all
They
little
will
cinnamon
be-
scrolls?
No, well, still wanting to use the food theme. They're going to be tiny, like, well, not tiny. They could be normal size. Cookie cutters.
Oh, God. That is brutal, Aston. That's so good. As the cookie cutters, like... they all like come kind of like appearing around you, surging. So Spirit Guardians, you want to drop it in the chat for me?
Yeah.
You have
Like
your
rookie cutters, am I right? That's bad one. I tried.
Oh, no. That didn't work. What is happening? Come on. Nope. Wrong buttons.
yeah.
Let's do
I
this
know
one.
that.
There we
feeling.
go.
Awesome, cool.
So yeah, all of my allies will be unaffected.
The first time it takes a turn starting there, right? So it's going to make it save at the top of its turn.
Yes.
Cool, got it. So yeah, you use your action, you smash the mace down. All of like this churning, kind of aura of cookie cutters come like surging up around you. Bonus action, anything else?
Bonus action. No, I don't want to do that. No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Different character, who does?
I know the feeling. Odella, you now are up.
Can I Should I do the safe thing or the more fun thing? Which
think I
is
just-
The space immediate to your right is safe, right? So you could get from there, if you want to try to.
But
do
what I need, but I need to, I think, actually back up one space, which actually would take an attack of opportunity. So I don't think I'll do.
You are a rogue.
Unless bonus action disengage. Okay, bonus action disengage. Back up one space, jump, then run 10 feet, and then jump. And I think if it's my strength score, right?
Yep. Your
so I can jump
horizontal
12
jump distance is your straight score. Yep.
12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get to the hand.
Yep, you sure can. You guys watch as Adele ducks underneath this thing's claw, going back to the edge, and then just charges past it and jumps, landing on the arm of this thing on the other side. You stomp down next to the hand, your little raccoon feet digging in. Yep.
And then I'll attack it with a short sword with advantage because we're flanking.
You sure are.
15.
A 15 will hit.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
20 points of damage.
For 20 points of damage as you
Oh, man.
lunge out with this short sword, plunging it into the thing's back, slashing away. It's just wheeling around at you, the wing sweeping over your head as you duck underneath it. I think this might suck, but I think you are realizing it did not do as much damage as you would have hoped it could have. Nonetheless, you put a pretty good hurting on it as you stab it in the back. You're now perched here on the arms of this thing. That was your bonus action. That was some of your movement, your action. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Holly, good tail. You're up on 18.
Okay, I think she drops her crossbow and draws out her axe and is going to kind of just swing at it with two hands.
Oh my gosh. Taylor
22?
blowing up with the gift subs. Thank you, my friend.
Taylor.
I really appreciate it. A 22 totally hits as you wheel back with your wood axe, cleaving into this thing, Holly. Oof, for 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. And because I'm going to remember that I can do this.
Yes.
Slasher feat.
Yes.
Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of the target by 10 feet until the start of my next turn. So I'm going to do that.
Got it. You slow it down. That was
and then I'm going to hit it again.
Yeah, that was only first attack. You have a second. Go for it.
25.
Yeah, it's
For 11.
got it. So that's 11 and 7 altogether. Yep. So again, you're realizing, Holly, it's not quite biting into it as hard as you want with this axe of yours, but nonetheless, you put some chopping on it. It looks hurt.
That's all I got. Okay, that's my turn. My bonus action is going to be to yell over to Obi. Be like, the slashing doesn't seem to be doing very much. I don't know what you got in you. And that is her attempt to help him.
Perfect.
Offering advice.
That was Holly Goodtail's turn, which brings us to this towering vulture-like monstrosity, which is looming up over all of you. Yeah, it's really mad that the last thing didn't work very well. You're now all around it on all sides. It just proceeds to roar, this horrific sound. The wings flare up. It's thrashing around and kind of swinging at all of you. Unfortunately, I need for all four of you to make another saving throw.
Saving throw.
It's a Constitution saving throw again.
No, I need a wisdom saving throw from it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Correct.
Spirit
Thank
Guardian.
you. Totally forgot. Thank you. Remind me of things. Wisdom saving throw it is. It does not have... Oh, it does have advantage on this. I'm such a jerk. I'm the worst.
Oh, come on.
20! It cares nothing for your damages, but you still get to roll. It does take half damage of 3d8.
Oh, it does?
It does
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do need all of you guys to make Constitution saving throws. So it
Oh,
takes.
wow, that was a
That was
terrible roll.
unfortunate. Look at it this way. At least he didn't make a saving throw on really good damage roll, Aston. So it's not that bad.
True.
Yeah.
Did mine pop in? My roll 20 is acting a little
Mine just
Is
sort
it
of
lag?
glitched out a bit.
super laggy.
Yeah. So you guys can just tell me if you saw it, or if you have dice, you can roll dice. I see Almond has a 14, Holly has a 13, which is a fail.
I'm gonna refresh my roll
I'll
20. I do
manually
have real
roll.
dice. I'll get them in a second.
18 for me with real dice.
Okay. God, Melissa.
Can you roll?
16
Can you?
plus 2.
I'll get my real dice, but can you just roll it for me, Rich?
Sure. Yeah. Here. I'm not going to touch your sheet rather than digging it up. Wow, Grace. Wow. Could I have rolled more horribly for you with the critical one? I couldn't have, literally. That's a critical one. Odella, Holly, you are both stunned as it screams, leaving both of you stunned until the end of the Rock's next turn.
revenge.
Sucks.
Did David talk you into this? What's going on here?
Nope. I know my DM ways. I know how to deal with you monks. Don't worry about it. Melissa
I'm
notoriously
not hungry.
plays a monk in a different game, so I am not trying to exact retribution for that choice that you made at all. I promise you.
Did, no big deal. Done a demon for 3 rounds recently. It was great.
Well, that's a good feeling. Both of you are unfortunately stunned until the end of its next turn. That was its turn. Obi, you are up. You watch as it screams, and you see both Odella and Holly, like, as the two of them are, like, caught up on top of this creature. They're both, like, kind of almost shocked, frozen. What would you like to do, my friend?
All right, so my roll is still lagging a little bit, but what I'm going to do is Obi, sort of recoiling from this scream, is going to sort of take a small step back himself, and click his shoes sort of across this viney bridge as he activates his boots of speed with his bonus action, doubling his walking speed. He then rounds about with a twirl and goes running, following after his sister, and is going to leap across this gap. He's got 10 feet with a running start, which I'm hoping is going to be enough as well to kind of similarly land along the arms here. As he does, he's then going to kind of run along, sort of past the wrists, and as he does, he is going to... oh no, I can't position it where I need to. Oh, he's got lots of movement speed. That's fine. What he's gonna do is he is going to. And I've got. Okay, this is annoying. Roll20 is completely falling apart for me.
I know that.
He's gonna run. Yeah, he's gonna run up towards this vulture bird-like creature, sort of right next to sort of where Armand is, with the speed that's kind of coming within him, and he's going to, as he jumps and begins to kind of jump across to leap across the arms, he is going to take his brandished sword, his Zilbuckler shield, slam them together, a flurry of sparks scatter off the metal, and he is going to cast Thunderwave at this bird creature, positioning it so that he's not going to hit any of his friends, which I think he can do if he gets right up next to it. So I'm going to need a Constitution save from the awful demon bird.
Okay. And you did jump onto the arms, right? You're trying to get on, like, the back side of it?
I'm gonna sort of I'm gonna roll it back because in order to Thunderwave, I can't be on the arms.
You can't
yet.
get
But
on
he's
the
running and will then like follow through and like jump across like as he releases the Thunderwave.
Got it. I'm like tracking my pieces now. Thunderwave Constitution saving throw, Dex?
Constitution save. It is I believe a DC a 14.
Okay, I'm at advantage, unfortunately. God, 16. Yeah, he makes it.
Yeah. So half damage, which will be 10 down to 5 points of thunder damage. Beautiful.
Got it. Thunder damage. Very
useful.
nice. Yeah, the thunder like ripples and it like staggers back a little bit, though not enough to get like knocked away. You hear it's like claws digging further into the kind of wood of the strange bridge that you guys are on, right? It clings here, and then you can vault where you see fit.
Yeah, I think having not managed to push back the demon bird, he kind of like vaults off of the front of its weird, like interwoven chest to kind of land beside Ode, and is then going to kind of circle around a little bit more so that he's sort of opposite Armand as she's stunned there. Unfortunately, not able to do anything to help his stunned friends, and that is his turn.
Excellent. As you have like kind of like vaulted over the folded praying hands of what appears to be the statue dedicated to the Night Father here. Almond Dalingsworth, you are up on 21.
All right. Bonus action.
Did I forget
Stunned.
something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's Holly that's stunned. I thought it was Armand that was stunned. My bad.
Yeah.
No.
Hollow.
Ignore me.
Okay, bonus action. Let's get the rolling pin out there with the spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm. The
Da,
spectral
da, da,
rolling
da.
pin appears next to you amidst the kind of aura of cookie cutters that are churning all over this thing. You do get
So
plus 1
15
to
to hit.
Okay, 15 hits, yeah.
Yes. I
15
don't know
totally
how to
hits.
put that into my...
Yeah, I can add it in later. I forgot about it.
Oh, wait, I
before
think it
too.
might already be in there, actually. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
I did actually try something before. I forgot already that I had done that. So good to know. Cool, it worked. Yeah, just level 2, because that's all I got. 10
Nice.
force damage.
Which does carry over effectively as the rolling pin like smashes down into this creature, and it's like wheeling back around towards it. That's your bonus action.
And then for my action, let's try let's try some primal savagery. So Armin's antlers start to get super, super sharp, and she just like rams it into the rock.
Hell yeah. We watch as you stab at it with the antlers. A 16 will hit.
So 11 points of acid damage.
With all this weird damage, it's so good. The acid burning and sizzling as your antlers like carve through it. I mean, it's acid damage. You're not actually excreting acid, but literally like your antlers are kind of like glowing with this light, right? And as they connect with the thing's unholy flesh, there's this like smoke of like just kind of unholy response to contact with your blessed antlers. That is your action. That's your bonus action. You want to move?
Nah, she's gonna stay there.
Okay, cool. With that, it proceeds to Odella, you're stunned until the end of its next turn. Holly, you're stunned until the end of its next turn, which is now. It is its turn.
Wisdom save.
Gotcha. Wisdom save at advantage. Wisdom. 12. That's a fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
I'm too busy doing the math of whether or not to use one of those other rolls.
Oh, hell yeah. See?
That's better.
Aren't you glad I didn't roll a good saving throw on this one, as it now takes 17 points of damage from you, Almond. So that was literally just 38 points of damage that it just took from you. in
Ouch.
the last like moment. So while it badly wants to take advantage of your stunned companions, it has eyes for only one of
For
the
sure.
Marshview 5 right now, as it's turning, glaring down at you like, you will suffer. Yeah, and it swings. It's going to try to first bite you. The beak comes like hammering down for you.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
20! This might be a meaningful amount of damage. That's 21 points of piercing damage as the beak, I think, like
Jeepers.
grabs you by the shoulder, Almond, like lifting you up and dropping you back down, while the claw is simultaneously like kind of slashing.
You should
Oh,
concept. Yeah.
23.
yeah, good call. Yeah, 23. So you hold concentration on that. Wow, Almond. Wow. The claw
Yikes.
does another
Uh,
17 points of damage.
No, the talons miss.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. AC 17.
Excellent. So good.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, cleric shit.
So you maintain your concentration after the bite hits. The claw misses. That is its 2 attacks. That's the end of its turn. Odella, Holly, you guys are no longer stunned. Oops, now I'm just putting all kinds of extra icons on you for no reason.
I'm stunned and a ninja.
Yeah, which brings us to Obi. You, sir, are up.
How's it looking?
How's it looking?
How's
Like-
it looking? Just like I'm kind of gauging. I want to gauge like, is this the kind of thing that's like it's holding on really strong? We're struggling against it.
It looks like ferocious and crazed in the reign of it all. Make an insight check. That's what I want to do right here.
Cool.
Make an insight check.
Yeah, because I want to try something ridiculous, but it's something that might take two rounds for me to actually get going. So I want to like see if it's worthwhile. 18.
18. It looks like it's holding up pretty well, but Almond just put like a real hurt on it. You know, like it went from like fine to like, oh, now it's like hurt, but it's not on its last legs or anything like that.
Cool. So what I would like to do, if I can, if I may, is Obi would like to try to, because this thing is like, there's lots of like weird, like sinewy things. You said there were like bony gills. There were like gaps in its like form,
Yeah,
flesh, and
where like its neck is, like it's this mix of like, it looks mostly bird-like in its structure, but as you're looking at it closely, like it's not all covered in feathers. It has all these sort of like sinew on like its chest and its legs, and then its neck has almost like these gills with bones protruding out of them. Yeah.
What Obi would like to do is that he's got a copper wire that he uses for his message spell. What he would like to do is try to ram that into one of these like gaps in the flesh and get it like embedded in there.
You want to get it in there like pretty deep, huh? What are we
Pretty
thinking
deep.
about here? Like, what do you think? I think maybe like an athletics check? Acrobatics maybe? I think it's athletics. I think probably as you're trying to shove it in. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a different thought?
I feel like, I mean, unless you want to like give me something like really finagly, like it's he's familiar with stringing instruments.
true.
Like can I pull something like a crazy performance check in something
I'll give you
that sort of
this.
vein?
I think it's either an athletics check where you're doing it through like sheer brute force, but I would give you a sleight of hand check to try to like deftly just like weave the thread, wire is the word that I am looking
Athletics is actually better, so I'll
Okay.
stick with the athletics check
Okay.
as he comes down to just try to slam this in here.
You have 2 attacks around, though, right? Do you have 2 attacks
I do
around
not
now?
yet.
No,
I'm
you
still
do
level
not. It's at
5.
6th level,
I
right?
don't get down to level 6.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think as you're
That's all right.
trying to like weave this copper into the thing from behind, it's thrashing and flailing. You are very precariously perched on the arms of this massive statue. It's a lot happening at once, and you just can't get it in there and situated as well as you want. That's your action. You got a bonus action, movement, anything else?
There's nothing else I'm gonna do with my bonus action because I want to save those bardics for. Because I can't
Flourishes.
use those because this wasn't an attack, so I can't use that to help in any way for me. Okay,
Yeah.
yep, that's it. That's my turn.
Okay, Almond
Ineffective.
Billingsworth is up on 21.
It's me. Okay, bonus action, have the rolling pin attack. Now, I've asked this so many times and I never remember the answer.
Doesn't get flanking.
Does
no.
It doesn't get flanking.
Nope.
I'm just going to make a quick note of that.
Sure.
No.
It gets advantage for
Flanking.
things like, fairy fire and stuff like that. It could get advantage for like other things that give attacks, but no flanking.
Yep. All right. Where is it? There we go. All right.
Oh, that was so close to a 20.
16 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah.
There was the moment where I thought we were just going to be like trading crits, and I was like, God, this is getting intense. That hits fiercely. The rolling pin smashing down on it again. And that's your bonus
Max
action.
damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who?
Okay, this time I'm going to cast the frostbite cantrip on it. So I need a Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to say DC?
With advantage here. 21 takes no damage.
And do I use it now? I use the other one now.
Oh, to try to make it fail.
It's got a +4.
Follow
It
your
does,
heart.
which means it would still fail.
Still 6. I'll still fail.
It is fail. Oh gosh, it doesn't really seem like
It gets disadvantage on its next, but it could also just do something that's not.
Exactly. No, I'm not going to use it now. That's fine.
Okay.
That doesn't. Not on a cantrip.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my turn. I'm going to
Uh,
stay there.
That is Almond's turn, bringing us to Odella as you're like shaking off the kind of panicked fear that froze you up in that moment. What would you like to do?
Start swinging away with my short sword.
Stabby stab.
At advantage.
23 totally hits.
+8.
Oh, that's min
come
sneak attack damage.
Wow, min
brutal.
damage. We never talk about min damage.
Mini damage.
yeah, really.
Mini damage.
Okay.
Cute.
That does hit solidly, slashing into it. I mean, it's a kind of glancing blow as you're like slashing for this thing's back, like balancing your brother standing next to you. You're watching him with this like copper wire in his hands. He's like trying to like shove it into this thing's back. You're kind of like, what's going on? Odella, that was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I used my bonus action to figure out what the heck he's doing. and that's the end of my turn.
Very fair. Holly Goodtail, you're up on 18.
She's gonna keep swinging at it with her axe because that's what she does.
Chop, chop.
22
Hits.
Chop chop.
for 6.
Chop, chop. I was looking for it.
Do it again. That's a nat 20. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've done this yet.
Take your time.
Because I never remember. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to a creature, you grievously wound it until the start of my next turn. The target has disadvantage on all attack rolls.
Whoa.
Oh,
So that's a
Wow.
thing. As well as
Awesome.
16
I'm so glad
damage.
I didn't waste the thing on frostbite.
Yeah.
Because this
So
is much cooler.
16 points of damage. You're frustrated because your axe is not biting into this thing as well as you would like, but nonetheless, you hammer it hard and it's like staggers you. I think you cut hard into one of its legs and it's like barely holding itself up, like badly. It looks pretty badly hurt at this point. After you're done
Yeah.
with it, Holly.
Action surge.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Holly
Oh, a
M
12?
effing Goodtail. A 12 does not hit, unfortunately.
Damn.
Well, I'll give
Yeah,
you
22.
I'll give you the inspiration I got earlier. Reroll.
Rerolled your 12. The 22 will
Oh,
hit. You
okay.
can reroll the 12.
Very nice, Grace. Okay. So the 22
Mm-hmm.
will be that reroll for 5.
Got it.
This damage is so pitiful. And then she's going to do it. 4th attack, again 22,
Hits.
for 13 more, all slashing damage.
Holly, once upon a time, people told the story about Holly Goodtail, how she killed a snake and saved her friends. And she has struggled because that's not true. And it's been hard to wear that mantle. But as you stand in the pouring rain with 3 of your 4 close friends, the Marshy 5 as you've dubbed yourself, the thunder peals above you, this flash of lightning casting these long threaded shadows of these twin kind of ancient gods, the Night Father and the Dawn Mother on either side of you. This thing shrieks a shriek of nightmares as you destroy it and banish it from this world. What does that look like, Holly Goodtail? What do we see as your moment of triumph comes in this harrowing battle on the doorstep to Magni's Hold in the Humbleyuir?
I think she has this she's standing there stunned, unable to do anything, and then she's able to shrug that off, and she's just like swinging wildly and looks across at Odella across the way, and she's reminded of this conversation that they just had, that sometimes it's good to be alone, but it's not always. Sometimes it's good to be with people. And I think that just ignites this fury in her. And if you'll allow a bit of artistic license, I think the breastplate shines a little bit brighter on her pack as she swings the final time and sends it off the edge.
I think it's this moment as we hear the flash of lightning illuminates all of you, right? And as the flash kind of dissipates, your eyes reacclimating to that darkness, you realize there is this kind of luminous halo of this clear white light just radiating from behind Holly Goodtail. And I think that with that scene silhouetted as you stand on this twisted kind of bridge leading across the way to Magni's Hold, you hear a cry from within the building. No! And that's where we'll leave our adventurers tonight. Dun, dun, dun!
We just
You're a
killed a
hero,
good
Holly
guy.
Goodtail. Uh-oh.
No,
I've killed a familiar before,
Yeah, we killed a
Yeah.
lot of little things. That
I feel like
was...
if that's their familiar, I don't know if we want to be hanging out
Uh-oh.
with the folks at Magni's Hold.
Yeah.
Man.
I told it we didn't have the swords, and it said then we have to die. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
feel like that
That's
was
true. Kind
Very
of,
true.
yeah.
yeah.
That was pretty epic, you guys. I think that everybody had pretty dope moments right there. It was a very great session. I loved everything that you guys, all of the conversation that you were having tonight was really juicy stuff. But just that fight, it felt punchy, and everybody showed up for a pretty big minute there. Yeah, that was cool.
Well, until I started playing with copper wire.
Hey, listen.
But that was epic. Between the cookie cutter spiritual weapon and the final takedown of Holly, that was good stuff.
Yeah, Almond Illingsworth was
Thanks for
definitely
the DM inspiration, Grace.
that was clutch. Almond Illingsworth was definitely the chainsaw that carved through most of that, but the rest of you all had like really clutch plays. Like I think that all of it. The like thunder damage rather than any of the other damages, the like action surge there at the end, like that was all very cool stuff. Awesome, you guys. That is episode 8 of Humbleyuir complete. I am very excited. A short adventure, he said. Join me for 3 to 5 sessions a year ago. We'll wrap it up by the end of the year. The end of a year.
Yeah, you didn't say what year.
Might be a year that hasn't started yet. Yeah. Gosh, that was very, very cool.
Found the loophole, you guys.
That was a lot of fun. I missed having our druid here tonight. Certainly, it was like very serendipitous timing that I was like, oh, weird druid magic place that you guys just stopped at. Sure, we'll see you next week, Aiden. But I think that it creates a fun moment for us. I kind of like the leapfrogging dynamic of the party of like, oh no, God, you guys got to go ahead. Like, I'll catch up, you know? So yeah, we'll see if he can catch up next time, how the old man gets caught up. But
I mean, he does move very slowly.
Just to like do like slicing a thing, he just said like, "No, Holly." Like,
oh, Holly.
Oh, Holly. You
I
killed
knew you could do it.
Well,
Yeah, he like stopped behind 'cause we had to stop to fight this thing.
I didn't
He's
want
just
to
been rolling
say-
up the stairs.
I actually used the Menhir circle to summon that just so you could have a hero's moment. Yeah.
him yelling inside. Somehow he passed us.
No!
He flew on it. Let's see. He summoned it, flew on it, and
It's like, that was my ride back.
no.
Now I have to walk back to Marshview.
You do know I hate walking. Yes. This was a very fun session, you guys. Humbleyuir is always a fun session, but I feel like we're into the juice of it now. I'm sorry you guys don't have more magical items, man. This thing's going much slower than I planned initially, you know?
You mean the big magic item, or like, because every time we show someone, they're like, here's literally today, here's a wicker basket of magic items.
Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't
I mean,
actually...
it's a rich stream session.
It is. I didn't actually. I was waiting for one of you to be like, I unpacked the basket into my pack. Would somebody have done that during the day? Or are you guys like carrying the basket just as he gave it to you?
We're just carrying
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah. Then don't worry about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I feel like we would have like stopped for little snacks along the way and kind of like rummaged.
You
through
grabbed
the
an
fresh
apple.
bread and
You ate an apple.
the apple. Yeah, it's true. Armin handed me an apple. But I don't know if we've like unpacked it fully.
I'll save
Oh,
it.
I
for
just need
next
to
time.
do. I just need to do that because I will absolutely forget. But I think as that battle ends, like we're standing on opposite sides of the head, like high five, and we high five through the
Over the hands. Yeah.
over the thing. 100%.
So good. It's so good.
And we jump back across. We can somehow get back across this gap.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about how I have a running start on the way over, but I don't. Maybe.
Yeah. So, if we do it at the same time, I've got to fail safe.
I think you could see it a couple of places. We'll see next time. We'll pick it back up. Yeah. This was very cool. I really love this game so much, you guys. It was very inspired, by a lot of different things, but like the Dark Crystal series on Netflix, like really capture a lot of my energy there. And it's so like we've talked about it before, but Redwall is like a big touchstone. I know for like Melissa Austin in particular, and like the epic adventure, like encased in the adorable furry adventures, is like becoming my favorite genre of D&D quietly. Like I really do love it. Yeah. The mandate on Dragonfly is whimsy, and this is adorable, but I feel like you guys just cover adorable, so I'm going for like brutal, real brutal hard stuff, just to make you guys look that much more adorable when you're sitting around cooking oatmeal and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's really like two extremes.
Yeah. Very, very, very cool. Gosh, am I missing anything? Are there any other awesome moments that I'm like completely overlooking from tonight?
It's great.
It's just great, top to bottom.
Yep. I
Start to
fully
finish.
concur. Fully concur. Well, very cool, you guys. I know a bunch of us have early days. We have busy weekends coming up, so we will part ways. Let's go around the horn here. Aston, thank you so much for being an epic cleric tonight. Your acid antlers, like, oh my gosh, that sent me that one. Is there anything that you want to like bring folks' attention to or be hyping up out there in the world that we should be thinking about? And where can people find you if they would like to be talking to you on the internet?
Yeah, people can find me on Twitter at peppersmithlife. I mostly just tweet and retweet D&D stuff, a lot of chronic illness and disability stuff, which is becoming more and more important with the way things are happening in the world. Things are getting crazier again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just all try and be patient with each other as much as we can. Not that that's always warranted, and that's fine. But yes, be patient, be nice, be understanding.
Yep, the world
That's
is
it.
harsh. The world is harsh and unrelenting, and if each of us like make our little bit of effort to inject a little bit more like kindness and positivity into it on a daily basis, that can't be bad. That cannot be a bad thing. I very much appreciate having you here. Austin, how about you, sir?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at AustinFSmith8, where I post links to anything that I tend to get involved in. Recently, I jumped on with Grace on post-show recaps theater to chat about the new Netflix movie The Grey Man, which, as I sort of said a few times on that podcast, I think is exactly what it says on the box. So if you kind of like that sort of vibe, it's a worthwhile movie checking out. If it's not your thing, then you're probably not going to enjoy it. But it was good at what it did. Yeah, solid action flick. If you go back in the post-show recaps archives a little further, you'll find Rich and I, we did a back-to-back set of podcasts a while ago where we took many of the main characters from Lost and many of the main characters from Community and figured out which D&D class they would be, which was a really delightful time with Mike Bloom on the Down the Hatch podcast for Lost, and with Jess Sterling on the Community Building podcast for Community. Very good time, very fun, and obviously you're here listening to D&D, so you'll probably enjoy that too. Otherwise, that's me.
It was an awesome exercise, Austin. I love that we recorded those back to back because it really was like such D&D energy. And the debates of us like talking each other back and forth, like, I don't know, I think this one's a warlock. Like, it just was such a fun, like the like, you know, getting each other into the like, you know what? You just sold me. Like the number of times that like you, me, Mike, Jess, all of us were like, you've totally just changed my mind. Like this whole character. It was very, very, very fun. I enjoyed those podcasts a lot. Yep. Grace, how about you? You're always keeping very busy. It's worth noting, I put the link here in the chat for anybody who doesn't know it, but our little troop makes its home mostly in the post-show recaps patron Discord. This is a podcast, film, and television community where we all found one another and play a robust game of Dungeons & Dragons together. This is where you can find many of us doing podcasts, but Grace, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's good. Doing a lot right now. A League of Their Own will launch next week, so release a preview pod for that. We're ramping up Blackbird this week. Push Recaps Theater each week. Next week we'll be covering Bullet Train that came out just this past week. The Sandman, which you and I are covering, Rich, as well as What We Do in the Shadows, covering with Lindsay Wilson. And very exciting, Mike Bloom and I will be live every Sunday night after the House of the Dragon episodes on HBO when that premieres later this month. So I'm very excited to get sort of first pass ass at that will be very, very fun. And over on Rob is a Podcast, I cover sports with the Offspeed podcast. I'm on Twitter at HighFromGrace. If any of that sounds interesting to you.
It should all sound pretty interesting to most of you. Melissa, how about you, my friend?
Sure. Follow me on Twitter, MelissaW28. I was on the Offspeed podcast not that long ago, talking about Ultimate Frisbee, which is the thing that is keeping me from podcasting and streaming a lot right now. But that's okay. The Canadian National Championships are in 2 weeks, which you could probably find on YouTube. That's, highly encourage checking out that. Otherwise, I'm podcasting over on the Patreon feed for post-show recaps with YA. We just wrapped up our Harry Potter coverage, which is very exciting, and I'm particularly proud of kind of the very last episode and some of the conversations that we were able to have there. And something that I might as well mention is every episode that we did, we shouted out an LGBTQ plus organization and made a book recommendation of an author that's kind of underrepresented in the like fantasy YA community. All of those are available if you're in the Patreon. There's a Google Doc that I made that lists all of them with links. Otherwise, they're all in the show notes for the podcast. If you're not in post-show recaps, but you're curious, just DM me on Twitter and I will send you that list. It's really cool. There's tons of really fun stuff that we've sort of been able to uncover over the last 7 months of doing the podcast, which took way longer than we expected, but it's over now. And then next we're going into, we sort of made a lot of jokes in the last episode that YA is canceled and no more, but really it's that we're morphing into, instead of asking YA, we're going to ask who A? And we're going to talk about we're going to watch Doctor Who with the great Adam H. PM in the chat. So Kevin, Adam, and I are going to do some Doctor Who coverage in the Patreon feed. And then there's been some talk about Mighty Ducks Game Changers Season 2 in September. So keep your eyes in push-show recaps for that. And yeah, those are my things.
Yeah, you heard it here first, Dave Malone. Who, eh? Kevin told me this the other night, and I was delighted. I know our mutual friend, the great Josh Wigler, just began his Doctor Who journey. And I was like, gosh, if you guys are curating episodes and being like, no, legit, like these are the ones to watch, probably this is like my entry point, right? This might be my gateway drug to the Doctor. Because I have just, it's so like voluminous and daunting, and I don't know, I get overwhelmed.
Agreed.
I have the like OCD compulsionist, like completionist thing where I'm like, I gotta start from episode 1 though, don't I?
Like 1943 is Doctor Who, right? The OGs. Yeah.
So
right.
this is like, I don't really want to do that, which is why I never have, right? So
we're starting with Eccleston. I can never remember the numbers. But yeah, we're sort of like picking and choosing. So we're not going to cover every single episode, but we're covering kind of the highlights. Although there are some seasons where we're like, well, we want to cover almost every episode. Yeah. So we might choose some more than others. But yeah, I think it'll be great. I'm definitely more of a newer, Eccleston, more of a newer Doctor Who fan. I think Adam and Kevin have both been watching it a lot longer, but I binged a lot of it during the pandemic, so I've watched a lot, starting with Matt Smith stuff. But it should be fun. I think it'll be I think it'll probably appeal to a lot of people who have not previously been into the YA stuff that we've been covering. So we'll see. It'll not be everybody's bread and butter, but it'll be interesting to some people.
I'm sure it'll be very interesting. I do want to commend you guys. I thought you guys did such a great job with the Harry Potter coverage, the way that you guys did bring attention to so many other authors. Like, what a great technique. And yeah, it's very good stuff. And your humble brag, I want to just like hype up that our friend here is going to go compete on a like super high-end level for Ultimate. Go kick everybody's ass, Melissa. Crush their dreams. Steal their hopes. Leave them nothing. Send them home weeping. I don't know. That's like American sports talk, right? That's encouraging.
Sports! I mean,
yeah.
I have very reasonable expectations for how we are going to do. But we've been working very hard all summer. The reason I haven't been able to be on Dragonfly is that I've been practicing twice a week since April. So we'll see how it goes. It should be good. It'll be fun.
Well, it was a very professional segue.
To meet Grace in person. So
we're gonna meet.
That's very
Yeah.
exciting.
Real life.
That also is a
Yay.
great segue because on Sunday, just 2 days from now, we will be back with a special episode of Dragonfly with our special guest star, Touchdown Tommy. The one and only will be joining us. Yeah, sports. So we're going to have a bunch of the Dragonfly crew here on Sunday. I think we're going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Dragonfly, our Spelljammer show, the kind of flagship show around here at DM Philly. It's literally got a ship. It has to be the flagship, right? It is a good time. D&D in space. Followed up by Monday night, we'll be back with Threads in the Pattern, which is our Wheel of Time role-playing game show where we're playing the actual Wizards of the Coast published official Wheel of Time tabletop RPG. It's basically 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons. It's got a couple of real custom rules built in there for the magic systems, but it's been very, very fun. We're having a great time with that, telling our own story in the world of the Wheel of Time as a bunch of nerds. So we're deeply enjoying that. As I said earlier tonight, as Grace pointed out, I'm podcasting about the Sandman. We're going to be covering every episode. The whole series just released today. I can't overstate how awesome this comic is, and I feel like the show is like so far one episode in holding up on the promise of potential. It's going to be a real joy. I have hijacked Melissa's co-host Kevin Maideo to go back and dig through Lock and Key, which is very Y adjacent.
It's super YA, I think. Yeah.
I know you're super busy, but I may be like knocking on your door to try to like pull you in if you want to come chat about
Knock
season
away,
3 of
Rich.
Lock and
Yeah.
Key. We're only going to be doing like 2 episodes talking about all of that. I am very excited for House of the Dragon. I will be covering the book club with the one and only Josh Wigler and Taryn Armstrong. So after you get to hear from Grace and Mike talking about the episode proper on Sunday nights, we will follow up early in the week to break it down with the book nerd perspective. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm overlooking, but that's okay because you can follow me on Twitter at DM Philly, and I'll probably occasionally tweet about those things because I'm not great about self-promotion. But I thank everybody for shopping in tonight and hanging out. I thank you, my friends, for all the subscriptions, for the gift subs. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I'm a professional dungeon master. If you want to air D&D me, just hit me up in the DMs. I think that this is the point where we go, bye. Bye.